Hey there, everybody, and welcome to DC Comics News. I am the editor-in-chief, Josh Raynor, and I am here to break down this whole schedule for DC Fandome. It's going to be a great time, but I am not alone. I am here with the owner of DC Comics News, Mr. Damian Fasciani. Damian, thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure to be here, Josh. Thank you for having me.
I'm
And
so
hello
excited to
to,
get into this.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. G'day to all our fans and all the DC fans out there. It's definitely going to be an action packed day next weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get into this. First off, how
Yeah, man.
when you first found out about Fandom, what was your thought on this 24-hour big mega fan event?
Man, I'll tell you what, super exciting. The very first thing that kind of came into my mind was DC are going to do their own version of San Diego Comic Con, but it's going to be just on the DC universe and everything DC, which I thought, it's the first of its kind, and it's super exciting because when we go and cover cons or pop culture events, there's so many different things around us, but we're always there to focus on DC. So to be part of something that is just on the DC universe is super exciting. So I'm absolutely pumped for it.
Yeah, yeah, I'm real excited. So let's take a look at this schedule. All right, all right. So they broke this thing down into six different what they're calling islands, which I thought was interesting. Really making it interactive, and they have a different schedule for every island here. We got the Hall of Heroes, which is essentially, if you look through the schedule, it's essentially their like Hall H. San Diego Comic Con Hall H
Yeah,
kind of thing. It's where all the movie panels and everything are. We got the Watchverse, which is got like all the TV type stuff. Kidverse, obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. A lot of fun kid stuff to do, a lot of activities and stuff for the kids there. The Uverse, I think that's kind of mostly like cosplay type stuff, that kind of thing. Art,
yeah. I thought it was like
things like
community
that.
stuff. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, fan questions, stuff like that, which I think that's a really cool option to have. Then they have the Funverse, which is just like little fun installations and things. I think there's like there's like a selfie station, all kind of comic reader, all kind of interesting stuff there. And then the Insider Verse, which is where most of the like comic book type stuff will be. So I think we should just get into the first one, Hall of Heroes. And this Wonder Woman 1984 panel. It's what's going to kick everything off. All right, right there, Saturday, 1 p.m. If you're on the East Coast in the U.S., 10 a.m. if you're on the West Coast, and whatever the other crazy time zones will happen to be. 3 a.m. on Sunday for you over in Australia. So we'll see how
yep.
that goes.
Yeah,
So
oh,
here it
mate.
says,
Yeah, no, I'm pumped.
yeah. Wonder Woman 1984 stars Gal Gadot, Chris Pine, Kristen Wiig, and Pedro Pascal. And co-director, co-writer, producer Patty Jenkins. They all will join forces with their Brazilian host, Enrico Borgo and Aline Diniz, to celebrate the fans in a big way. So this is a 25-minute panel about Wonder Woman 84. I'm pretty excited for that. I don't know if it's going to come out. I know there was a news piece that came out. I think it was earlier today, saying that AT&T and Warner Media aren't sure what they're going to do with their movie slate. So who knows if Wonder Woman will actually come out in October like they have planned. Uh, what are your thoughts on that? First off, I'm curious.
Yeah, look, I think general excitement about the film is building, and I think unfortunately with the impact that COVID has had on the DC film slate and films in general in cinema, people are eagerly awaiting when they're going to get access to the film. Um, the big, I think the big challenge for AT&T and Warner Brothers around this one is around when do things go back to normal, and when do people kind of feel safe to go back out and go to the movie cinemas, because they want bang for buck, right? If they're not going to make a lot of
Yeah.
money at the box office because people aren't heading out, they're just going to delay the release of the film, and that'll
Mm-hmm.
push out the rest of the DC slate, because we assume that they want to maintain some type of chronological order of films, right? So
Yeah.
if Wonder Woman gets pushed out, Batman gets pushed out, Black Adam gets pushed out. So it's a tough one. But look, the first Wonder Woman I thought was fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they come up with this panel. And we all love Wonder Woman. So hopefully it's a great panel.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. The one thing that I'm worried about with some of these panels is how short they are. 25 minutes. What
Mm.
can you really dive into? I don't know. Hopefully they'll be able to pack a punch with these, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Um, you had something to say?
Yeah, look, I think hopefully with the panels being short,
Yeah.
I would assume that maybe they've got some quick announcements in a short period of time. The announcement might
Yeah.
be a new date of launch or something we don't know about the film or something like that. But I think the other thing I thought with some of this stuff was because of COVID and because there's been a disconnect between the fans and DC. The fact that we're communicating and we're getting together, I think it builds the engagement, it builds the excitement. So,
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm just, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. All right. So their next one up is the WB Games Montreal announcement. This
Ooh, I'm looking forward to this
is,
one, Josh.
yeah, there has been rumors for the last, 2 years probably about, what Montreal would be dropping. Uh, it's going to be a first look at an exciting new game. Obviously, it's a DC game since it's on DC Fandome. 20-minute panel. I know a lot of the rumor has been I mean, obviously a new Batman game, but Court of Owls has been something that's been floating around a lot for
Mm.
this. What do you think it might be? And is Court of Owls something that you would want to see?
Look, if it's going to be new, I think I love the Court of Owls story. It's such an intriguing story and a backdrop to Gotham City and how it impacted Bruce Wayne. I'd love to see a Court of Owls game. Absolutely, dude. Given if you tie that with the gameplay of the Arkham games, particularly Arkham Knight, and Batman with the Batmobile, with some new combats, taking on the Court of Owls for Gotham City, and if that was an extension to Arkham Knight, that would be amazing. Unless they cut it off and it's a completely new story and a new persona of Batman. Either way, I think if they're going to do something new, I'd love to see Court of Owls. We've seen everything in the Arkham universe with Joker, with Penguin, and so forth. But for me, the Nirvana is Court of Owls making an extension of the Arkham universe straight after the events of Arkham Knight. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think as soon as I heard the rumor about it being a possible Court of Owls, it got me the most excited. Like I love the Arkham games and everything, but I think that Court of Owls is something that would really fit in well with that style of gameplay. You could really dive into the mystery of it and get into the detective work of it and really make something interesting, I think. And I'm pretty pumped for it. Now, if not Batman, is there a different type of game you would like to see?
Ooh, that's a good question. As far do you mean a Batman game, or with Batman
No,
as the
like
key character, or
no, like
just
a
a
different
DC,
character. Yeah.
a different character? Yeah, look, I think. Look, my second favorite DC character is the Green Arrow. So I'd love to see. I'd love to be able to play as Green Arrow. Otherwise, the Flash is up there
Okay.
for me
Yeah.
as well. So the Flash or Green Arrow, maybe being able to maneuver between different characters when you get to different points in the game and being able to swap out who you control. But
Yeah.
Flash or Green Arrow for me.
Those are
Um,
some great choices.
yeah.
And
What about
I
you?
think with
Yeah.
I think when you talk about Green Arrow, I think if they were gonna make a game for that, I really kind of do. You remember back in the day that Green Arrow Supermax movie that was supposed to get made way back in
Yes.
the day, and then they kind of adapted it for the Arrow TV show a little bit. I'll be honest, I've always wanted to get a real good version of that, and I think that would actually be excellent in a game where he's got to fight his way, out of prison and do all this stuff. I think that it'd kind of be like Arkham Asylum, but in a prison, with Green Arrow and in a prison. I think that'd be actually pretty
Yeah,
fascinating.
man. Yeah, that
Um,
would be awesome.
the other one I would really like is in the style of these Arkham games is Green Lantern. because that's my favorite. Green Lantern
Ooh, yeah.
is my favorite, and I think doing it that style could, like, I know they did a game a while back, like after that movie came out and everything, and the game was actually, in my opinion, better than the movie, but that's neither here nor there. But I think they could do a great job with that. You know, I actually
Mm.
I'd love to see that. Everybody out there, let us know in the comments what game you would like to see during this WB Montreal announcement. Is it another Batman game? Is it something else? Let us know in the comments. All
Absolutely.
right. So the next one was the Sandman universe entering the Dreaming panel. Have you read any of the new
Ooh.
Sandman universe books?
This is one set of books that I actually haven't read. I've been busy with Detective Comics, Batman, Joker War, and a few others,
Yeah.
and Justice League. But no, I haven't. I haven't read Sandman. No, tell
Yeah,
us.
they've been
Have you, Josh?
I've read some of it. They've been doing some real good stuff with these. The Dreaming has been really good. They actually just launched a new, I guess, a spinoff of it called The Dreaming Waking Hours by G. Willow Wilson. So, and since she's on this panel, I'm assuming that she will be talking a bit about that as well. It says that they're going to be discussing the legacy of the Sandman comic series and how it has been expanded with these new stories. There's a lot of good stuff coming out of the Sandman universe, and I really
Yeah.
hope that they keep it going. A nice 30-minute panel. I'm pretty excited for it. Yeah. All right. Then we have this one, which intrigued me. Multiverse 101. I was like, what is this? So I opened it up, and it says, get schooled in the engaging refresher course on the creation of the multiverse. And it has Jim Lee, Walter Hamada, and Greg Berlanti. So we got the comics, the movies, and the TV. And I'm like, that's really cool. We'll be able to kind of dive into this idea of the multiverse from all different aspects of the media. What are your thoughts on something? Is this a panel that you would check out?
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. I think this is a smart play from DC. I think in order to be able to grow adoption with the fan base, you go back to the 101s and you explain the basics. So for those people that aren't necessarily across how the multiverse works, and more importantly in that panel, not just from a film perspective, but from all angles, right? We're talking comic books, we're talking movies, and you build engagement. That's a platform
Yeah.
that's a foundation for a lot of fans, and from there, they then get engaged on everything that interlinks into the multiverse. And man, Jim Lee's my favorite, so I'm looking forward to hearing from Jim on that. And who knows, there could be some intricate little things that even we've missed over the journey that we could pick up. But like I said, I think it builds adoption, it builds a bigger fan base. So I think that's great.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually really intrigued by it. Like I said, when I first saw it, I was like, huh. You know, you got like the movies, the games, stuff like that, but then just this kind of broad kind of panel, like kind of tucked in the middle there. But there's a lot of people who may be like new to comics, who really don't
Hmm,
understand the multiverse that well, who are still kind of
absolutely.
confused by, well, are the movies and the TVs and the comics, are they connected? We don't know. And it happens. Like I have friends who aren't as deep into comics as I am, and they're like, "Oh, are we gonna see Grant Gustin in the movies?" And I'm like, "No, probably not." Though after seeing Ezra Miller in the Crisis crossover, you very well
Yeah,
might see a quick scene of that. You never know at this point.
absolutely. What's he doing here? What?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, and speaking of the Flash, introducing Flash is our next panel. And you may see a title like that, introducing Flash. And you may think, okay, this is probably a panel, talking about the legacy of the Flash, or how he got started. Nope, this is about the movie. This is it's the filmmakers Annie Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti and Ezra Miller, as well as screenwriter Christina Hodson, will give fans a rundown of the first Flash movie. It's only 10 minutes long, but I'll be honest, it's one that I am probably most excited for because it's something we don't really know a lot about. What are your thoughts on this Flash panel?
Yeah, look, I think it's fantastic that they're doing something about the movie. There's been so many different, I guess, pieces of news or information, rumors about this Flash film now. I think dating all the way back to when the original DC film slate came out, when we saw
Yeah.
Batman versus Superman. Even though it's only 10 minutes long, we're actually going to get something to talk about
Hmm.
now moving forward. And for me, when you got the filmmakers and you got the prime actor there on a panel,
Yeah.
it gives us a foundation to hang on to and something we can talk about, right? So I think
Hmm.
that's amazing. It means that they've made some decisions and they know they know what the future looks like for that film, man. So
Yeah.
I'm pumped. Like I said before,
Yeah.
I love the Flash. So what
Oh
about you?
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I love that. Like you said, they got both the filmmakers. They also got the screenwriter Christina Hodson, who I believe is actually also working on the Batgirl film. She's writing the script for that
Yes.
as well. So I mean, whether or not they talk at all about that, who knows? But
Mm.
the fact that we just recently kind of got some insight into what the story will be about. And over the last maybe month, we've gotten some kind of bits and pieces here with the stuff about um, what's his name? Blanking on his name now. Michael Keaton coming back as
Yes.
Batman. So
Yes.
stuff like that.
Oh,
It's like we're getting all these kind of like small bits and pieces, but it's like, what does it all mean? Like what does like I don't know at anything. I have no understanding of what this story is really gonna be. They've talked about how it's not gonna be the Flashpoint, like it's taking elements of Flashpoint, like Barry going back in time to save his mom, but it's not doing the flat. Even though I would love, because they have Wonder Woman, we have Aquaman all set up in this universe. I want to see that story, of the two of the Amazons and the Atlanteans just going to war. I want to see that.
yeah, yeah,
And part of me
absolutely,
really
man.
hopes we at least get like some sort of glimpse of it. Maybe he's bouncing through different worlds or something, and we just happen to land in that world for 3 minutes or whatever, and then we're out. But I don't know. So I'm glad. Yeah, like you said, I'm glad that they're doing this panel just so we can get something, even if it's only 10 minutes. We'll get something that maybe gives us an insight into what this movie's going to be. Maybe, I mean, with COVID and everything, we have no idea when anything's going to happen, any sort of time frame or anything realistically, just because of that. But I'm pretty excited for it. So
Yeah, me too, dude. I mean, I think just one last thing on that. I mean, if they take a portion of Flashpoint, then it's the opportunity to link that film to other parts of the universe, right? So,
yeah,
yeah, I'm super pumped for the Flash.
absolutely. All right, then we've got this one right here, which I'm super excited about. Batman Beyond. That's right. So it says Batman of the swinging '60s culture clashes with Batman of the far-flung future when Batman Beyond and his old mentor, old Bruce Wayne, intercept a broadcast of the 1966 Batman TV show. I don't know what this is. I
What
don't
is
know. It's
this?
five
What is
minutes long.
this?
I don't know
Is it
what
an
it is.
announcement about something? Is it an announcement about a Beyond Batman film? Is
I
it
don't know, man. like,
maybe Michael Keaton's gonna maybe there's a pre-recording for Michael Keaton and maybe he announces that he's the older Bruce Wayne. Who knows?
yeah, I don't know. But just reading that little synopsis, I'm just like, I don't know what this panel is, but I'm going to be there for all 5 minutes of
That's right. Yeah, me too, man. I'm ready to go. Ready to
It's
go.
like
You know
it's
me.
like I don't
Batman's
care that it's only 5 minutes. I'll be there. I don't
I'll
care.
be there.
All right. So then we got the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's quasi sequel, almost reboot. I don't know what to call it, but it's something, and it's from James Gunn. But 30 minutes here. We got a nice long panel for this one. I don't know who all is going to be there. I mean, it says James Gunn answering fan questions. I don't know if any of the other like cast members might pop in, but I think I hope so, and I hope we get more details about what actually is going to be going on in this movie. Is this a movie that you're excited for? I don't know what your thoughts are on the first Suicide Squad, but how do you feel about this? Like I said, quasi sequel, reboot, whatever they want to call it.
Yeah, look, I think this panel's a bit of a mystery. I think the original Suicide Squad, I I watched it twice at the cinema, and I had two different feelings at the end of it. The first time I watched the Suicide Squad, I really liked it. Then I watched it again, and I thought, I feel like they've kind of packed too much into this, and they haven't really built that. I think they've rushed building the backdrop or the background to all the main characters, and there's a little bit too much in it. So yeah, I mean, I do want to say I am excited for the Suicide Squad film. I just hope they've learnt from maybe some of the inconsistencies in the first one, and build a better experience for us moving forward. But yeah, yep.
I had pretty much the same feelings about this as you. Like I liked it. I mean, it had some issues, but I liked it that first time I went and saw it, and I've seen it 3 times. Once in the theater, twice at home, and each time I've kind of liked it less.
Yes.
Like you see, you kind of find things that's like, that doesn't work. Maybe I had like beer goggles on the first time around. I don't know. So
I felt that way about Justice League.
Yeah.
First time I saw Justice League, I was like, this is cool, and then
the
second and third time, I was like, oh, this is getting worse every time I watch it.
That's how I was. That's how I was with the Green Lantern movie. I was just like the visuals, I think, just like locked me in, and then I was like, "Oh man, that was great!" And then I watched it again. I was like, "What was I smoking? That was not good." Yeah. But yeah. So I'm actually, because I love James Gunn and I love the Guardians movie, especially that first one. So, and he's really good with ensemble casts. So
yes.
I'm actually really excited to see what he does with the Suicide Squad here. So
yeah, I'm excited as well. I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy film. I saw it twice in IMAX. I'm a DC guy first, but it's that was a great film.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the next one we have here is called BAWSE, Females of Color Within the DC Universe. When I saw this, I was like, I don't know what any of that. I mean, obviously, I know what females of color within the DC universe means, but I was like, I don't know what BAWSE is, and that's literally the first line. What's a BAWSE? Find out here as some of the hottest actresses across DC television film sit down with celebrity DJ D Nice and Grammy-winning singer actress Estelle to discuss how they use their confidence and vulnerability to navigate their careers in Hollywood. So we've got Megan Good from Shazam, Javicia Leslie from Batwoman, Candice Patton from The Flash, Tala Ash from Legends of Tomorrow, Nafisa Williams and Chantel Thuy from Black Lightning, and Anna Diop and Damaris Lewis from Titans. So, I mean, a lot of great actresses here from some great DC shows. I'm actually pretty interested to see this. This will be a full length. Apparently, so it says it's 20 minutes. And then it says, catch the entire full-length conversation at McDuffie's Dakota in the DC Watchverse. So I'm assuming that what they're showing here, this 20 minutes, is actually just a snippet of this whole thing. Yeah. And then you have to go over to McDuffie's in order to see all of it. So I think that's kind of cool. I'll definitely be checking out the full conversation at some point during the night. When I do, I'll be doing some live streaming for those of you out there. I'll be doing live streaming. I'm just announcing that right now, so you're the first to hear it. I'll be putting out an actual official post soon, probably tomorrow, announcing what I'll be doing with the schedule and everything. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on this? I think this is an interesting panel to have in here.
Yeah, look, I think this is incredibly important. I think that there's 2 themes here for me: is gender diversity and women of color, and it's fantastic that now that we've got to focus on women of color and the power that we have in the DC universe with female characters. They're just as important as the male characters, and maybe traditionally in the past that hasn't always been the case as far as focus on male versus female characters. And for all those young kids out there, those young girls that do look up to those characters, it's important that we have a focus on that. So. And we've interviewed some of these actors at roundtables at Comic-Con, so I'm really, really keen to hear what they have to say and what their world has been like navigating through Hollywood, whether it's been in movies or on TV shows. So yeah, I'm excited for that one, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about
I
you?
remember. I remember. I think it was New York Comic Con 2018. I was at the Titans roundtable and got to talk to Anna Diop, and she was really cool. So I'm
Mm,
actually really excited just to see how uh, what they all are able to talk about, and how what kind of insight they're able to give into all of this that's going on. So I'm actually pretty excited
yeah.
for that. All right. Next one up is Legacy
Ooh,
of the Bat. I know this one
yes.
probably strikes a chord with you as a massive
Absolutely.
Batman fan. So
I
this
love the
one,
bat.
first line right there for you, calling all Batman fans. It
I'll
is
be
a
there.
discussion on the wide scope of the Batman universe, including the Batman family of characters. Key talent from comics, TV, and games will provide insight to the world of the Cape Crusader. 15-minute panel, not a lot, and they haven't. There's no announcement of who may be there, but obviously this is probably one that you're pretty excited for, just out of sheer curiosity, I assume.
Yeah, absolutely. As you know, I'm a huge Batman fan. He's my number one character in DC. I got my Jim Lee Batman hat on, and there's not a lot there that we can kind of go off to say, okay, that's where we can nail down exactly what's going to happen. But it seems like there's a wide scope there, and I'm really intrigued about who's gonna rock up to that panel. But yeah, sign me up. I'll be there,
Yeah.
100%.
All right, and this next panel, I guess you call it. It's a performance. I was a little confused at first, but then I remembered. Oh yeah, he's worked in comics. Chris Daughtry is doing a performance of his song "Waiting for Superman," a song inspired by the Man of Steel himself, as well as his new song "World on Fire." He is I don't know if you know who Chris Daughtry is. He was on a season, one of the seasons of American Idol. Uh, he didn't win, but he went on to have a pretty solid music career, and he wound up working on, I don't remember what it was, but he worked on some comic in DC as an artist. I don't remember exactly which one it was, but so he is tied into the DC world. So I thought this was really interesting and something different to bring to this event. We have all these panels of just people talking, and that's great. Getting insight into movies and things like that. But to have a musical performance, done in this virtual scape, I thought that was a really interesting thing for them to do. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, absolutely. I think it breaks it up a little bit. We're not just listening to panels. Music is such a big part of not just the DC universe, but any film for that matter. Music and soundtracks brings the story to life. I'm a massive music fan, so I'll be dialing into that and
Oh, awesome.
experiencing the
Love to
performance. I think
hear.
it's great.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll definitely check it out. If simply just to kind of support what they're doing over there.
Yeah, man.
I'm sure because like I like his style of music, so I'm sure it'll be good, and it'll be like you said, a nice kind of break away from all the stuff, all the talking and everything else that's will be going on throughout the event. All
Yeah,
right.
absolutely. We've had exposure to his music down here in Australia, so
Yeah.
would be keen to hear it.
Yeah. All right. Next up is the antithesis of one Batman, the
Mm.
Joker, put on a happy face.
The Clown
Now
Prince of
this
Crime.
features interviews with filmmakers and industry legends, discover the origins and evolution of the Joker, and learn why the Clown Prince of Crime is universally hailed as the greatest comic book supervillain of all time. It's only 5 minutes long, and so it says it features interviews with all these people, but like how if it's only 5 minutes long, I don't know how much they're actually gonna be talking
I don't know,
about
man.
this.
I feel like the Joker needs a little bit more than 5 minutes. But when I
Yeah,
read that, I thought, oh, maybe they're giving us some more information to go off and find. Maybe there are links
maybe.
or a little bit more information to say, hey, um, you can go over here and get more information or watch a pre-recording on something else. I'm
Yeah,
not sure, man. But
maybe kind of like the Women of Color one, where it's like you can
yeah,
go and find the full thing over in a different part. So maybe more of these interviews will be available in one of the probably in the Insider verse, which is where a lot of the comic book type stuff is, and there's a lot of on demand stuff over there. So it'll
yeah,
probably be something like that. So I don't know. I guess we'll see.
we'll
I'll
find
definitely
out.
be looking at that. All right. The next one, where'd it go? There we go. Is someone that I know you love, and I love as well, but I know you mentioned him earlier, Mr. Jim Lee. That's
Yes.
right. Yes, he will be doing a panel here called Jim Lee Portfolio Review DC Supervillain Fan Art. He will be, it says, Jim Lee turns his keen eye on fan-submitted art that focuses on DC supervillains. 10 minutes, but I think that's actually really cool that he's, taking some time to look at other people's art and just kind of, I don't know exactly what he's going to be doing. I don't know if he's going to be critiquing it or giving advice or what he's going to be doing with it or just showcasing it. But either way, I think that's a really cool thing to do for the community. What do you think? What do you think about this panel?
Yeah, look, I'm similar opinion to yourself. It's awesome that Jim's going to be able to interact with the community, point out some fan art and interact and I assume it'll be, giving some feedback, some tips and tricks. But it's great that he's not just showcasing his marvelous pieces of work, but also putting the spotlight back on the community, because that's the lifeblood of everything I think that DC does. You've got your grassroots and where the writers and the artists are coming from and bringing them up and kind of showcasing their work. I think that stuff's incredibly important, man. So I think it's awesome that Jim's making time to do that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's not many who are better at this stage right now who are working who could take the time and do that. And so I think that's really cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah.
Now this one is long. A lot of stuff to read here. No. Surprise DC Comics panel. 20-minute panel. No idea.
This is what we call a Kinder Surprise. It's a little chocolate egg with, just don't know what's inside. But I'm going to bite into this one, Josh.
Do you have any guess as to what this could possibly be?
Man, I got no idea. I'm not going to pretend that I've got some type of strategic idea about what DC is going to be talking about here. But man, this could be anything. This could be, it could be games. It could be a movie that we just don't know anything about. It could be an announcement that the Batman film is connected to other films. Man, it could be an announcement around some of the longer term stuff with DC Comics and what they're going to be focusing on. We published an article yesterday, Australian time, which would have been around 14 hours ago now, around some of Jim Lee's comments around DC. It could be something about that stuff. Who knows? But they've got us intrigued because it just says 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
So I'm dialing into that one.
It's a surprise. Keep you on your toes. I'll definitely be dialed in for that one just to kind of find out what is going on there. All right. Our next one, as you can see, involves Batman. It's called I'm Batman, the voices behind the cowl. It says, everyone has their favorite Batman, but the audiences around the world, their favorite Batman has a local sound. It's time to meet the voices behind the cowl. Hear what it's like to be one of the many global vocal actors portraying the Dark Knight and the super dubbers who lend their talents to the Caped Crusader on big screens and small all over the world come together for the first time in multiple languages, 20 minutes. So it seems like it's not, we're not looking at probably Kevin Conroy, Dietrich Bader, stuff like that. They might be there, but it sounds more like, the people who voice these characters when they have to dub over stuff that's already there, like whoever takes over in Spain or France or whatever to voice this character in those different countries. What do you think about this? I think this is actually a really neat idea to really kind of showcase these other people who probably don't get much acknowledgement, really.
Yeah, and you know what? I'd love to hear from Kevin Conroy and all those mainstream actors that have voiced the characters in the animated films, but I actually hope you're right, and I hope it's the voices that and the people behind those voices that we don't typically see for international audiences, because they do deserve some spotlight, and it'd be wonderful for DC to recognize those voices, because a big part of Batman's persona is his voice and how he kind of
Yeah.
gets into that state of mind when he goes out there at night. And those voices, those international voices, I hope we bring them to light, and I hope we see those actors. And that's not. Don't take anything away from our mainstream actors like Conroy that have voiced the Bat. But I hope you're right, Josh. I'm after that. So hopefully it's those actors.
Yeah. And so our next one, you mentioned a little movie that you had you liked it, then it kind of got a little worse for you as you watched it.
Oh yes.
And that is a movie called Justice League.
Oh,
And this panel is the Snyder cut of Justice League.
Yes. Yes.
Obviously, you're pretty excited for this. 25 minutes, so it's on the longer side of these panels. So I'm glad that they're doing that. Got Zack Snyder fielding question from the fans and a few surprise guests. I could probably say Ray Fisher because he's been real vocal about a lot of stuff. I feel like it'll probably be him.
Yep.
I want to see Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck. I really want to see the two of them. It's probably a long shot, but that's really I really want to see both of them.
Sorry, I'm laughing because when you say Henry Cavill, the last thing on my mind with Henry is the video that he posted on Instagram of him building his gaming PC. It was the funniest thing I had seen for a while.
That was great.
So funny. Yeah, man. I think.
So, what are your thoughts on the Snyder cut? How excited are you for this?
Man, there's. I want to explain how excited I am, but we have a wide audience, so I have to refrain myself from explaining how excited I really am. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, this has been a long time coming, and Zach is going to get to share. He's going to get to tell us his original version of Justice League, right? And I'd love to hear in particular from Ray Fisher, because you're right, he's been very, very vocal. And I think hearing Zach talk about this, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago now, about Justice League. And Zack Snyder's Justice League, I think from memory, with what Zach said, it's going to center around Cyborg. Cyborg, I think, is the center of that story.
He's always said that Cyborg was the heart, supposed to be the heart of that story. And all of that just got chopped out when Whedon took over.
So I think it was at Justice Con. It was.
Yeah, I think it was
a few weeks back. Yeah, I'm excited for this because hearing what Snyder had to say in those live panels at Justice Con, this is going to be awesome. And not just hearing what Zack Snyder has to say, but hearing some of the actors. Bring in the PC building Henry Cavill as well. Why not? To be honest, I'm not sure we'll hear from Ben Affleck. But, man, Batman's my favorite character, so I'd love to see Ben there. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Ray will be one of these surprise guests. I really do. I wouldn't be shocked if, like, Momoa is there.
Yeah, man.
That wouldn't shock me. Like I said, the two I really want are Cavill and Affleck. Whether they're actually there, who knows? But I didn't hate Justice League as much as a lot of people did. Yes, there are some definite bad things in that movie. But overall, I found it to be a fun ride. As much as you could see, as much credence as I can give to it as a film. But every time I've heard Snyder talk about his plan, this overarching 5-movie thing that he wanted to do, and Justice League was the middle part of that story. And I'm just like, okay, I really want to see where he's going to go with this. But is it just going to leave me hanging and wanting more and then never getting that? You know what I mean? If he had 2 more movies planned for this, are we ever going to see those movies? Is WB and DC going to give him the ability, if this thing does well, to actually do the rest of these movies in some fashion, whether it be animated or live action, whatever? I just want to see the story. I mean, preferably live action, but that would require money and certain people, and who knows if that will actually happen. But so, like, I'm torn about this movie because I want it so bad, but I'm afraid that it's gonna leave me unsatisfied because I know the kind of stuff that he wanted to do with it. So
Yeah, there was more to come. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
similar to you in the sense that um, we don't know. We assume it's unlikely that we're going to get to see more post his story of Justice League.
yeah,
And you're right, there were multiple parts. I think there were 2 or 3 parts to the original Justice League film
yeah,
over the DCEU, right? So,
yeah, yeah. It was supposed to be. It was Man of Steel, BVS, and then 3 Justice League movies.
yeah, yeah. And I think in between the Justice League movies, there was going to be the Flash film. There was going to
Yeah,
be a few solos
yeah,
as well with Aquaman. So,
hmm
yeah, look, it's a real interesting one. There's so many unknowns. Maybe with some of the changes that AT&T have made with Warner Brothers, maybe there will be some more movies after, and maybe the execs are talking about it around the board table, and maybe the trigger for that will be how popular Justice League becomes on HBO Max. If it's
yeah.
an absolute worldwide hit and they made a ton of cash off it, then maybe something else will come down the track. Don't know, but yeah, I'm a bit like you in the sense that if it ends up being amazing and then it ends, it's like, well, there was meant to be stuff after this, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so another big film that has been talked about for the last several years is Black Adam,
Ooh,
and we are
bring
getting
on
a
the
Black.
Rock.
Yes, star of Black Adam, The Rock, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, will set the stage for the story and tone of this new movie with a Q&A and a few surprises, it says. 15 minutes, but you know what? I'll take it because we're finally going to get to just know what this movie is going to be about, really. And we know nothing about this movie other than
Zero, dude.
it's got The Rock and it's tied to Shazam. That's literally all we know about it. So
Yes,
what
but
are you hoping
Shazam
for this?
Shazam was tied to Superman as
Mm-hmm.
well at
Yeah,
the start, very briefly,
yeah.
with the yeah. So it was tied to Superman. So maybe Black Adam will be tied to a new Superman movie down the track. Maybe, who knows?
I know a
But
lot of
look, we
rumors
haven't.
flying around that maybe Cavill's Superman will be in it. Who knows? You know what I mean? They tried to get him in at the end of Shazam. Uh, Things didn't work out, and so they put a body double in there for that last scene and just didn't show his face, which was a little bit disappointing, but it was funny nonetheless. But
Yeah,
what
yeah.
are you hoping to get out of this movie?
I want I want a massive shock, a shock around the fact that here comes Black Adam. And I want, because I think Dwayne Johnson has dropped a couple of hints with Instagram of him working out for the role, and he's made some comments around I think it's, I'm paraphrasing it, but the most powerful supervillain to come, or more powerful than Superman. I want them to bring that to life in this story. I want a jaw-dropping realization that this character has come into the DC universe. Forget about Darkseid and everything else. This guy is more powerful than anything that we've ever seen ever before. And the heroes of the DC universe are up against it big time because this
Yeah.
guy's come and he means business. So I want shock and awe. That's what I want because the Dwayne Johnson can bring that to the big screen. That's
Oh
what I
yeah.
want. No mucking around. I want him to come and I want him to start breaking some jaws. So,
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
that's what I
I
want. What do
love
you want?
that. That sounds fantastic. I will take
Yes.
that. You can take all my money.
Take my
Yeah.
money, DC. Take it.
Yeah. I'm pretty pumped for that. I mean, ever since they announced The Rock being Black Adam, I was like, damn, that is a perfect choice for this.
Mm.
And he he will make no offense to Zachary Levi, but he will make Zachary Levi look real small when they are on the screen together.
Oh, dude.
I think
Yeah.
even Henry Cavill will have a little rougher time trying to look as intimidating once The Rock hits the screen there. So I'm
Absolutely, man.
pretty interested
Absolutely.
there. Yeah. So this next panel is a little something different. It is CNN heroes, real life heroes in the age of coronavirus. So bringing it down a little bit, But it's talking about something that it has to be talked about, really. It says while DC features iconic fictional superheroes recognized around the world, CNN Heroes shines a light on real life, everyday people making a difference in their communities. Now, as the global COVID-19 pandemic has turned all of our worlds upside down, CNN's Anderson Cooper introduces you to the frontline workers, advocates, neighbors, and friendly strangers who are coming together to help us through this crisis. And this one is an hour long. It's the longest panel that we've seen yet. So first, I want to ask your thoughts on them doing a panel like this. And I'll be honest, I'm curious as your thoughts on the time frame of it. It being twice as long as any of the other panels that we have seen so far.
Yeah, look, for me, when I saw this, I thought the first thing I thought of was I think comic books in general, and particularly when we look at how Batman has evolved over the last 80 years, DC has always found a way to make comic books relatable to that particular time period. And comics have evolved, characters have evolved, and they've linked that to the current point in time, or to that point in time, to make them relatable to people. Once we build an emotional connection with our heroes, that's when we buy books, that's when we buy merchandise, we go to movies, because there's an emotional link there between the audience and the character. I think this is really important in this day and age, right? Because COVID has stopped the world, unfortunately, and it's had such a dramatic impact. So the real life superheroes are those people that are on the front lines that are battling this thing on our behalf, so we can go back to some level of normality, whatever that will be. So I think it's a really smart move, and it's a legitimate one in the fact that this is our reality today. So let's put the spotlight onto our version of what those superheroes, who those superheroes are, and giving them some stage, and they deserve the kudos because they're risking their lives for us. So I think it's fantastic. To be brutally honest, it's a little bit controversial. I'm not sure I agree with the time. I think I saw the 60 minutes and I thought, geez, that's double the amount of time for all the other panels. So I'm not saying it doesn't warrant the hour, but when you balance it against the time of the other panels, I'm not sure whether I would have had it. I'm not sure whether I would have assigned that much time to it. And like I said, that's maybe a controversial statement. I think a 30, 45-minute panel for me would make a little bit more sense. But hey, it doesn't water down what those people are doing, that they are real life superheroes, and we thank them from the bottom of our hearts. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I agree that I think it's definitely an important thing to discuss. It's something that we really, as a society, need to come to terms with the fact that this is a thing that's happening in the world, and we can't just ignore it. You know what I mean? And there are all these people putting their lives on the line to bring us groceries or make sure we're healthy, with doctors and all this stuff, and they don't get the spotlight that they deserve. Yeah, you're right. And so I think it's a great idea that they're doing this. I agree though with you. I do think it's a little long. It does seem a little long. Maybe when we watch it, we won't even feel the time. Who knows? You know what I mean? I have no idea how the structure of it will be. But just looking at it from the outside, it seemed a little odd that 60 minutes, when the longest panel so far that we have seen with all these big movies and things is only a half an hour. But I get it. It's a topic that needs to be discussed, and maybe they felt, well, you know what? This is something that deserves that longer time frame. Okay. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely,
right,
man.
This next one, I think you will be the most excited about. Are you ready?
I think I am. No,
to be announced.
I forgot the order, dude. I thought this was something else.
I don't know. Like, it's not like they put. It's not like they put surprise panel like they did on the other one. There's just there's not even a time frame, like an amount of time for whatever this is. It's just 6:50 p.m. to be announced. We'll throw something in there. I have no idea.
I think they know what it is. They're just deciding not to put it in there, just to give us something to think about.
They should have just put DC Secret Panel number 2, and I would have been way more.
That's right, exactly.
Way more happy about that. All right, so our next one is Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Dun, dun, dun. And this one saddens me because it's only 10 minutes long.
Come
But
on, man.
you've got
Aquaman
James
deserves
Wan,
longer than that.
right? You could shave 15 minutes off that CNN one. Stick it over here.
Yeah.
Just saying, man.
Man. Just
So we got James Wan, Patrick Wilson, coming in talking about the world that they created, revealing their favorite behind the scenes moments. Like I said, it's only 10 minutes, so I don't know what we're really going to get totally out of this panel. I don't know if James Wan is going to talk about, the next film at all, or that spin-off film that was discussed about the trench, which we haven't heard anything about in quite a long time. But and like I said, it's only 10 minutes, so it's not like they can talk about a ton of stuff. So what do you think they may talk about, and are you excited for this panel?
I'm not as excited as some of the other panels, Josh, but I think if they're gonna Aquaman brought in over $1 billion at the box office internationally. It was a fun film. It was a great film. And I think taking us behind the scenes and going through, giving us some of the insights that we haven't seen or experienced with that film, I think is a smart move. But again, 10 minutes, it's pretty short. And again, when I see a panel this short, Josh, what I think of is hopefully they give us some information about something that is to come, or go over here and experience something a little bit longer. So, but we'll see. I'm happy Aquaman is there, dude.
Yeah,
I'm happy he's there.
I'm curious if we'll get like a quick Momoa just pop in, hey, and take off kind of
Hey
thing.
guys, yeah, of course, yeah.
He'll just pop in out of nowhere. His screen will go up. He'll be like, "Hey, everybody," and then he'll just disappear.
Yeah,
I could see that. That'd be pretty funny.
Definitely.
All right. Our next one. I don't know if you have been keeping up on the Harley Quinn the animated series, but we are getting.
I have not been watching it. No.
We are getting a panel called Ask Harley Quinn. And from the sounds of it, it's going to be the animated Harley Quinn answering some questions. And it sounds kind of awesome. It's only 10 minutes, but if that's what this is, man, I am there. Because that show is one, I don't want to swear on this podcast here, but it is one of the best shows that DC has put out.
Yeah, I haven't had this on my to-do list yet. I do want to check it out, absolutely.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah, so I will dial in for this one, absolutely. Sign me up. I'll add it to my schedule. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I mean the show. I mean,
Why are you so excited about it?
Mainly because of how much I love this show, and this is if they're doing it the way I'm thinking they're doing this panel, it's something really unique. Having the animated Harley Quinn, just like essentially a 10-minute animated short of her answering questions. You know what I mean? Probably not PG friendly because that show is anything but PG friendly.
I do want to check it out. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one of the reasons. And it's only 10 minutes, so it'll just be a nice little kind of, you pop in, check it out, see what it is, have fun till you move on to your next panel. But in the next panel does sound pretty cool, and that is Wonder Woman 80th anniversary celebration. So, but again, right here, this disappoints me. 5 minutes. What do you do in 5 minutes? You've got Patty Jenkins, Gal Gadot, along with a very special guest that they're not revealing. So you got 3 people, and they're reflecting on the character's influence on them, and looking forward to 2021, and talking about I assume the movies and things like that. But what can they realistically do in 5 minutes? Like, this is a whole reason why I think this whole event should have been a weekend event, like any other con. You know what I mean? I think the idea of it being a 24-hour thing is cool, but I think they're shortchanging themselves with these 5-10 minute things. What are your thoughts? First off, on this panel, and then on that time frame.
Yeah, look, I think the panel is fantastic. Wonder Woman is. I've grown to love Wonder Woman more over the years. she's such a powerful character. She's so integral to the Justice League, and her story
Yeah.
is so inspirational. I think so. We need to celebrate her 80th year, dude. I mean, if you have a look at what DC did all year last year for Batman, I know
Yeah.
Batman is the prime product. Batman got a whole 12 months.
Yeah,
Wonder
man, he
Woman got
totally
5 minutes. I
did.
mean, there's a bit of an imbalance there, man. It's like
Uh-huh.
she's such an integral part to the Justice League. So 5 minutes for me is way too short. Way too short.
Oh
In
yeah.
saying that, I do understand that to put something like this together for 24 hours, to do the schedule, to collate all the people, it's a monster effort to put something like this online. So we do have to take that into consideration as well. But I
Now
would have
again,
loved.
if this is one of those things where here's 5 minutes of this longer discussion that you can find
Yeah,
on one of the other places, then I'm okay with that. But it
yeah,
doesn't
man.
say
Yeah,
that anywhere, and so it's
no,
like
no.
5 minutes. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, I would have loved, realistically, I would have loved 25 minutes, 30 minutes, where
Yeah.
similar to when Batman got inducted into the Comic Con Museum last year, when we were there covering it, and they had an introduction to Batman where there was a pre-made video that went for about 6-7 minutes, and it was around Batman over the ages. So give me a video about Wonder Woman where we see Wonder Woman evolve over the 80 years, and it's a really powerful introduction. And then you've got another 15 minutes where everyone comes up and talks. So
Yeah.
I think that would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But look, nevertheless, I'll be there for the 5 minutes, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one brings back someone who we talked about earlier, one Mr. Jim Lee. It's Tomorrow's Superheroes with Jim Lee, brought to you by Gold House. I don't know what Gold House is, but
Who's Gold? What is Gold House?
says it says DC's CCO and publisher Jim Lee joins Bing Chen, founder of the global non-profit
Yep.
collective Gold House. Still have no
Okay.
idea what that means. No, still don't know what that actually means. To discuss the important contributions of Asian artists and writers in comics and comic book inspired entertainment. I think that's pretty cool. We got a women of color panel, and now we've got an Asian artists panel. I think that's really cool. 15 minutes. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, definitely. It brings culture to comic books and to pop culture, right? We're blending the two together. We've got my favorite. We've got Jim Lee, part of that panel, and I think it's important to recognize culture and where the talents do come from, right? So blending those two together, I think, is definitely a smart move, and it kind of humanizes everything that gets done with comic books and bring characters to life. So bring it on. I'll be there.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
about you?
Yeah, I love the idea of it, and I mean, Jim Lee's fantastic. He's such a good speaker. Like I've heard him
Yes.
talk on so many different panels, and he's so knowledgeable and he's so just well spoken that I think that this will be a great one to check out. So, all right.
Absolutely.
So our next one is another movie panel. We talked about someone who's an integral part of this character, but now we're going to talk about the character himself, and that is Shazam.
Shazam! What a
We
fun
got-
film that was.
Yes, absolutely. So we got another 10-minute panel. Zachary Levi and cast coming in, talking about the movie. Let's see, it says him and a few of the castmates will talk with the Philippines' #1 DC fan, Gino Quillamore, about what the next movie might be about, while commenting on everything from panels to the other Zach's cut. So that we talk a little bit about the Zack Snyder cut. It sounds interesting. But yeah, I'm excited to find out what this second Shazam movie will be about. Again, that time frame still kind of. I'm not a big fan of these less than 15-minute panels, but I guess you got to cram in what you got to cram in. I guess I don't know. So Shazam, you said you thought it was a fun film. Are you excited for a sequel?
I am, absolutely. I watched Shazam for the first time when I was in New York for work, and I went to go see it in downtown Manhattan. Awesome film, lots of fun. Deserves a sequel. Again, the 10 minutes is a little bit short. I mean, what can we cover in 10 minutes? Hopefully some of these panels actually go overtime and things get pushed out a little bit. I'd love another
Yeah.
5-6 minutes or 10 minutes with those people. But yeah, I think one of the key words in that description was that they're going to tell us what the movie might be about. So might.
Yeah.
So
It does say might.
are they not sure, or depending how the conversation goes will determine what they do share. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to experience this one where, is it definitive? Is it this is what's coming and let's talk about it? Or is it we're not really sure yet, but we'll give you some themes about what it could be about?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, when I read that, I was like, might be about. Okay. We'll see. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I love Shazam. It's one of my favorite of these new DC films. I know a lot of people didn't like the change in tone compared to the other stuff, but I'm like, it's Shazam. Like, that's his tone. You know
That's
what I mean?
who he is. That's who he is.
He's this goofy character. That he's the ones that the Shazam I know is this goofy character. And maybe that's because I'm more familiar with the new 52 Shazam. That's
Yes.
where I was introduced to Shazam.
Yep, me too.
But so I know a lot. I know there's even people on our staff not the biggest fan of it because it's not like the old school Shazam. But you know what? It is what it is. But I'm actually super excited for a sequel, and I'll take anything they can give about what is to come next, even if it's only 10 minutes worth and it's only a maybe. So this next one intrigued me quite a bit. Have you ever played a game called Werewolf?
Werewolf?
Yeah.
I have not. No.
Yeah,
No.
it is.
On PlayStation?
No, it is. So it's a game that you play with your friends where you're all different, like townsfolk people, and one person
Is it
the
the
werewolf.
card game?
Yeah.
Is it the werewolf card? Yes, I have played that.
Okay, so
I was on a camp last year. Yes.
We're getting Wonder Woman 1984. The Wonder Woman 84 cast play Werewolf 1984.
Sorry, man. I wasn't on the same page as you before. Yes, I was introduced to Werewolf last year. I was on a camp for work. And I was introduced. I brought the cards straight after because I loved it. Yes.
Yeah, so apparently, from the looks of it, the cast of Wonder Woman 1984 play Werewolf 1984, a fun adaptation of the game that they were playing while on set filming. So I guess they're gonna play the game for all the fans here, something that they did on set. And it's a 22-minute thing. First off, 22 minutes, that's kind of weird. It's just a random amount of time to me. Everything else has been, 5, 10, 15, 20, 22. But, I assume it's a pre-recorded type thing, and so that's probably why it's 22. But this really kind of grabbed my attention because I'm like, I used to play Werewolf back in college. I haven't played it in a long time, but it's just something different. Like I've said with some of these other panels, it's something unique and different that we're getting to see, and maybe while they're playing, maybe they'll talk about the movie. Who knows? Who knows what they'll be talking about? So, what do you think? Since you now that you understand what I was talking about and what this is, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, look, I think this can be a lot of fun. It's like you're going to get to see the insight and the actors from an angle that we don't see them. And it's behind the scenes. They're playing a card game, and it's a lot of fun. And again, it's about building a human connection with those actors. You're right. I think it might be a pre-recording because maybe it's one round and the werewolf has captured one person. Because typically, if you play that game, and the more people you got, the longer the game lasts, right?
Yeah.
So it's probably one round. But for all those people that are not sure what werewolf is, look it up. Just Google it, and you'll get an explanation of what the card game is. But it's an awesome game, and the more people you have, the more fun it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that one.
Yeah. All right. So we have 2 more panels in this island, and this one, they announced this, I don't know, maybe a week ago or so, and that is the new Suicide Squad game. Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. So they're going to be doing a panel about that. Rocksteady putting it on. Will Arnett, who voices Lego Batman, will be hosting this panel, and they'll be talking about this game and a 20-minute panel. Like I said, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. First off, I kind of love that name. I don't know about you, but I really I really love that name, and this image that they released of it with Superman with the target, the Suicide Squad target on his head. So, Damien, what are your thoughts on this new game, this new Suicide Squad game?
I am extremely pumped for this game. The Suicide Squad is going to go out and attempt and being told to take out the Justice League. Um, we published that picture, that poster when it came out. I think it was a few weeks ago now. So I'm intrigued by the gameplay. I'm intrigued by what the gameplay will be like. Can we switch between characters in the Justice League? Are we going to with the Suicide Squad, who you assume will be the characters that you control as part of the gameplay? And are we going to see everybody from the Justice League in that game? Are we going to see Batman? Are we going to see Wonder Woman? But with the target on Superman's head, that intrigues me. So where does the story start? Where does the story finish? I love my games, so I think that'll be awesome. But in that poster, there's something going on with Superman's eyes.
Let me go back to it and double check.
Because Superman's eyes, it looks like he's about to.
Wow, you got a keen eye right there. Actually, we'll do it up like this, make it a little bit bigger.
Something's going on there with his eyes. It looks like he's about to either.
Like the red from like the heat vision, like right here.
Yeah.
Starting to come out. Yeah. So like, has he gone evil?
Yeah.
Is this like an injustice type thing, where he's gone evil and they're being tasked to stop him and maybe the whole Justice League has gone bad.
Who knows, man? Who knows?
So that could be actually real. I didn't notice that before, so that's a good catch. I'm glad that you saw that and brought that up. That looks really cool. All right, now the last panel in the Hall of Heroes Island is one that I am sure Damien will be waiting on just tiptoes for this thing, and that's the Batman.
Batman.
Yes, Matt Reeves will be there. It's hosted by Aisha Tyler. She does a lot of these moderating, and it says there might be a surprise or two for the fans, but Matt Reeves will be there discussing the new film. 30-minute panel to cap off everything in the Hall of Heroes. So, man, the Batman. Damien, what are you hoping to get both out of this panel and out of the movie as a whole?
Man, when Robert Pattinson was first cast, I had the same feelings when Ben Affleck was first cast. I was like, what have they done? Seriously, they're going to destroy my superhero. But then I went back and did some more research because I hadn't watched anything that Robert Pattinson was in besides, you know what, all the way dated back.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to watch some of his independent films. And I did. I watched some of them. I rented them on Apple TV, and I was quietly surprised. So
yeah,
I'm
he's
hoping,
actually a really good actor. You know,
he is a really good actor,
those
actually.
Twilight films do not give anybody in those movies.
No, well, this is the thing, man. So anyone there's been so much negative commentary online on some of our forums and all sorts of forums about him not being able to give us a persona of Batman that we're going to love. People are ill-informed. People actually need to do some homework and then make a proper judgment. But what I'm hoping to get out of this panel, I want a little bit of information more about what the actual backstory is, because we assumed it was based off Batman Year One, but we now kind of know now it's a little bit of that, but there could be some other stories mixed in there.
There's been rumors about how maybe it's based on Long Halloween. And stuff like that, you know?
So understanding a little bit more about absolutely. So understanding a little bit more about the story. So what's the backdrop of the story? I'd love to get. I've heard rumors about a preview or a short snippet of a preview.
Okay.
I was on Reddit last night actually, and there was a spoiler alert. Someone thinks that they know what this preview is going to be about. I'm in two minds whether I share it now, but I shouldn't have read it, but who knows whether it's accurate or not. But I'd love to see some type of preview, and a little bit more about the film, and hopefully Warner Brothers launches a preview or some new stills. I'd love to hear a little bit more how the cast are going.
Because they did quite a bit of filming before COVID hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
yeah, they did.
I feel like they've got to have at least some good stuff that they could show. And it's a 30-minute panel, so we're getting a lot of stuff.
Good time.
He's gonna be talking. Like I said, hopefully showing some stuff, maybe getting some guests. And it does say on here a surprise or two. So I'm really excited to see what this panel is. This is probably my most anticipated panel for the whole thing, which I'm assuming is the reason why it's capping off the night. You know what I mean?
It makes sense that. Yeah, it makes sense that they're doing it last because they want engagement. They want as many people online as possible. Yeah. There's rumors of 2 Batsuits in the film. So hopefully they show us maybe a second Batsuit. Who knows? Cool. But this is number one for me. Above everything else, I want to know what's happening with the Batman. So this will be awesome. Maybe one of the announcements might be, I'm hoping that this isn't I'm hoping it's not solo. I hope it's linked to some of the other films.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah, who knows? So, like I said, that caps off all the Hall of Heroes stuff, which is where all the movies and stuff are. But I really want to kind of also get a little bit into the Watchverse, which is where all the TV stuff is. I know you're a big fan of a lot of the Arrowverse CW type stuff. So I'd like to get into some of that. So the first one in Watchverse, starting off the day, like I said before, all these islands are having panels that are running concurrently with one another. So when that Wonder Woman panel is going on in Hall of Heroes, this Flash panel is going on. So if you're like, oh man, I want to watch them both, they're running this in 8-hour blocks. So if you're watching, so I'll go with the time frame that I have, the Eastern Standard Time. 1 o'clock, everything starts again at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. So you can, all that whole 8-hour chunk just starts over again there. And then again at 5 a.m. on Sunday. So if you miss something, as long as you're, 9 p.m., at least, like I said, for the Eastern time, that's not too late, I'd say, if you really want to see the panel. 5 a.m. might be too early for some people, but if you want to watch these panels, you have 3 opportunities to watch all of these panels. So be sure you do that. So yes, the Flash. You said one of your favorite characters. What? First off, how do you feel? Okay, so all of those movie ones, the highest one was a 30-minute panel. This is a 40-minute panel. Yeah. So they're giving time to the TV shows, it seems like. I don't know why some of the movie panels are only getting 10 minutes, but I do like to see that we're getting some longer panels over here with the TV stuff. A whole bunch of the cast: Grant Gustin, Candice Patton, Daniel Panabaker, Carlos Valdez, Danielle Nicolette, Kayla Compton, Brandon McKnight, all here talking about the Flash. And he also says fans will also get a look at the exclusive black and white noir episode, Kiss Kiss Breach Breach, which will be available on the Flash Season 6 Blu-ray and DVD. Well, first off, what do you think about how do you like the show, and what do you think about this panel? First off, being 40 minutes, and what do you think they'll talk about? Are you excited for it?
Yeah, I love this show, as you know. I started watching Arrow, and then when Flash came out in 2013 or 2014, when Flash first came out, the 2 shows that I consistently stuck with was Arrow and Flash. And I love Grant Gustin and kind of how the show's evolved over the years. I think my gut instinct is that the structure, the reason why it's 40 minutes is the structure of this panel might be the same as what the panels were at San Diego Comic-Con when we had the Arrow panel, the Flash panel, where you get a recap of the season that just finished. The actors come out and talk about what's transpired, and then they give an insight into the following season, and then you get that all-exclusive trailer of what's to come. And that was kind of like the standard format for all the TV show panels at San Diego Comic-Con. Man, we had to line up for hours to get into those panels. So the fact that I could just sit at home and just turn on and watch it is great. Unless they go with a different format, who knows? But to me, it kind of makes sense. That's why it's 40 minutes. But
Yeah.
what about you? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I love. I mean, pretty much all of these shows. I think Flash is. Yeah, I think like you said, Flash and Arrow are probably my favorites. Probably followed by Legends of Tomorrow, which is just such a weird, quirky show, but I love that one. But yeah, I love that it's a 40-minute thing. It says they're going to break down both parts of season 6 and look ahead to what's to come with an exclusive trailer for season 7. And I'm interested to see this exclusive look at this black and white noir episode. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really interested to see that. I'm pretty pumped. Like I love the movies, but the TV shows tend to be where I kind of dive deeper in. I mean, maybe it's because there's more of it, but I tend to
Yeah.
get a bit more invested in the TV shows than I do in the movies. So I'm actually really excited to see this one and kind of see it, and all of them really, just to see where they all go with it.
And I assume when they say both parts of season 6 means before and after the crossover.
I would assume so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right.
bring it on.
So the next one is an interesting one. It's A League of One, the Dwayne McDuffie story screening. So let's see. It is originally released with the DC animated movie Justice League Doom. It's a documentary that celebrates the late Milestone Comics co-founder Dwayne McDuffie. 35-minute documentary. I think it's actually kind of awesome that they're going to show this during Fandome. I haven't seen it, so I have Justice League Doom. I didn't realize that was on there. I might just go and watch it, over the next couple days, just to see it, and then I'll probably watch it again here. But have you seen this documentary? And is it, if not, and even if so, is it something that you're interested in watching during Fandome?
Probably it's probably not as high up on my list as some of the other ones, but I've seen Justice League Doom, the animated film, which was really fun. So I definitely highly recommend that one. I will probably tune in for this one. It depends what it clashes with. But if it clashes with something in real time that I'm going to prioritize and I'll watch it after. But yeah, highly interested. And I think it's great that they've got it on the schedule. So it'll be another good panel.
Yeah. And this one takes place at McDuffie's Dakota, which is a part of the Watchverse island, where where the women of the women of color panel will be, and some other stuff like that as well.
Awesome.
All right. So our next one here, there's a couple that are just kind of random, but we can give a quick talk about them. This first loves DC. Where is? There we go. Italy loves DC.
Oh, back to my roots, because my background is Italian. So
okay. There you go. So it says
you got a bit of culture.
Yeah, it's the panel's in Italian with English subtitles. 40-minute panel with all kinds of people who have worked for DC, who do work like Mirka Andolfo, Emanuele Lupacchino, and a bunch of other people in there, which I think that's really interesting and really cool that they're doing like these full panels that are set, in different language and stuff for people around the world to enjoy. And I believe the next panel is one similar to that as well. So as I move over to that one, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, so this next one is set in Spain. So what are your thoughts on these types of panels that they're doing with foreign language panels? This one's a big one. This one in Spain is a big one. It's a 55-minute panel. All kinds of interesting stuff, it sounds like. So yeah. What are your thoughts on them doing these panels, first off, and is it something that you would be interested in checking out?
Yeah, look, I think it's incredibly important because mixing culture with comic books and what DC has put out over the years is incredibly important. We know that DC is a US-based organization, but they've employed people from all over the world, and those people from Italy, from Spain, across Europe, Australia. We've got some great artists and writers that come out of Australia as well, right? So, those writers, those artists, going back to their culture, their people, and talking about their experiences is incredibly important. So mixing culture with DC is great. Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think I'm incredibly proud because I've got an Italian heritage, but both sides of my family come from Italy. So it is one I'm going to keep an eye on, and if I can, I'm gonna dial in and see what they say, and it'll test my Italian skills and to see if I can understand everything without reading subtitles.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I think it's really important for them to do these. I don't know if there's doing any other. Yeah, so it looks like they're doing a French one. They're doing Canada, Germany. Let's see, Brazil.
Yeah, there's
Let's
quite a
see.
few.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch
If
of them, and I think this is fantastic that they're doing this, and they're giving a pretty decent chunk of time for them. So I think that's great that they're showcasing these different language, these different language artists who have done some great work, who probably don't get as much of the spotlight as they deserve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
absolutely. Bring it on.
yeah, absolutely. All right, so got some more TV show panels coming up.
Yes,
This next
bring it.
one was a show that came on and has blown me away, and that is Black Lightning. I don't know if you have watched the show, but I love it. I love everything they've done with it. 35-minute panel got Cress Williams, China Ann McClain, Nafisa Williams, Christine Adams, Marvin Crondon Jones III, Jordan Calloway, and James Remar, with actor filmmaker Robert Townsend moderating the panel. What do you think about Black Lightning? What are your thoughts?
I watched the first season of Black Lightning and I quite liked it.
Yeah.
My problem was I'd commit to too many shows at that time and I couldn't watch them all. So,
Oh my
but
goodness,
I
yeah.
loved Black Lightning. I actually didn't know much about the character because I didn't read the comic books. So,
Yeah, same
but
here.
for me,
Yeah.
yeah, for me it was I was brought on a journey through the story and I love season one. But I think maybe you should talk a little bit more about this one. You might know a little bit more
Yeah,
than
I
me.
mean, I was new to the character too when I started this show, but as soon as that pilot episode, I was hooked, man. Like Cress Williams he does such a phenomenal job
Mm.
as this character. It tells. I feel like it tells an important type of story that we don't get a lot of. You know what I mean? You get the black experience. Not this shiny, polished, everything's okay kind of thing. It's like
Yeah, yeah,
stuff is not good. You know what I mean? And they tackle those topics. They tackle poverty and drug use and all that stuff within this show, and they do it in such a way that is relatable and it's not too heavy-handed. I think personally, and so I think it's a fantastic show. If people aren't watching it, I really think they need to check out Black Lightning. Personally,
yeah.
I love it. It's such a good show. All right, now this show I have not watched. I do not have the channel that this show happens to be on. I don't know if you've seen it, but the next one is Pennyworth.
Ah, Pennyworth. We covered this. We covered the promotion of this when we were at San Diego Comic Con last year. And the show had organized an interactive walkthrough in one of the cafes on the main strip in San Diego. And that was a lot of fun. It gave us a bit of an interactive experience on what the show was going to be about. Geez, I can't. We do get it here in Australia. I just can't remember where. I think it's Fox 8, which is as part of pay TV. But I have not seen Pennyworth either. So we're a bit useless on this one.
It looks like a really cool show.
Yeah.
And the people on our staff who have watched it, they seem to really enjoy it. So it's one that I definitely want to eventually get around to watching. Only a 20-minute panel, but it looks like they're going to be talking about the upcoming new season, which I feel like it's been a while since that first season, and I feel like we really haven't heard much about a second. So this, in general, for fans of the show, I feel like it will be a good thing for them to be able to finally get some word on what may be happening in a second season to come. So so
Absolutely.
this next one is a show that I absolutely love. It's another one of the DC Arrowverse shows, and that is DC's Legends of
Legends of
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It is
Great
it
show.
man, it has gotten so good. Especially after Constantine joined the show. Oh man, I love that guy.
Yes.
He's so
Yes.
fantastic.
Backed by
And
popular demand.
they do such crazy stuff on that show. It's ridiculous. And it's like any other show, you get a spin-off and you do some of these ridiculous kind of things, it ain't gonna last. But they somehow make it work. I don't know how they manage to make it work. I mean, not every episode is a winner, but it's been on for 6 seasons now, or no, for five
Yeah.
seasons. It's going into season 6. Man, and I feel like it's gotten better every season. Personally, it's one of my favorites. I think it's probably my third favorite of the Arrowverse shows right now. So, I guess second now because Arrow's done. So, I don't know if I can count it anymore.
Yeah.
Do you watch Legends at all? And if so, what do you like about it? If not, why not?
Why not? I watched the first 2 seasons. After the
Okay.
second season, again, I had trouble prioritizing and committing to
Yeah,
too
no,
many
I
shows.
get it. I get
But
it.
I've kept up with the show as far as what's going on because we've always tried to cover the roundtables at San Diego Comic Con with DC Legends of Tomorrow. So a bit like you, I'm to be truthful, I'm surprised that the show's lasted this long. Like every year, I'm like, oh, I wonder if this is going to get locked in for another season. But kudos. I mean, they've got some great actors. Like you said, it's quite quirky, and they've made it work. And I'm glad it's still running. And I do want to pick it up and actually watch the remainder of it. I was
Yeah.
so dedicated to to Arrow and Flash and a few others, Gotham for that matter as well, which I loved. So yeah, but I've got to get back on DC Legends of Tomorrow. But it's awesome that they've got a panel for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what season 6 is about.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I love it. And like I said, once Constantine comes on, man, it just takes off.
It
So
was
good.
awesome how they were able to bring him into that show because,
Yeah, man. Matt Ryan is
yeah,
like the perfect Constantine. And I love that
yeah,
show, the NBC show. It was really
yes,
good. I just think I don't think NBC was the right place for it. You know what I
no,
mean?
no, I
It's
don't think
just
so either.
it was
They didn't want
not
to
it was
invest in the show.
no. And unfortunately, because they were setting up some real good stuff in there with like Doctor Fate and whatnot. They're doing some good stuff in there. So unfortunately, I hope that they kind of. I mean, they haven't really yet, but I really want them to dive more into the stuff that they did in the show with this version of the character. You know what I mean? I want it
Mm,
to really be tied together, but I don't know. We'll see. All right, this next one
absolutely.
steps away from the TV and dips more into the comics with a panel called Reintroducing Nubia, the Black Amazonian Queen. I don't know if you are familiar with Nubia, but she's kind of had like a bit of a resurgence recently. She is like the black twin sister of Wonder Woman. She guards the gates, I think, to the underworld. I was reading some stuff about her like last week. Inside Editions put out a book about the history of the Amazons, and she's in there, which I thought was really cool. But yeah, I thought that them doing a panel, it's a half-hour panel, and apparently there's a book coming out called DC's Nubia Real One. Looks like it hits bookstores in 2021 and is available for pre-order right now. I'll have to check that out. I don't know who's putting the book out, but I I don't know. It sounds cool, and I really like that this character is kind of getting a resurgence, like I said, and I'm curious if she'll be part of that Amazon's spin-off movie that has been talked
Yeah,
about
yeah.
at all. So I don't know how familiar with the character you are, but what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'm semi-familiar with the character. I found out about the character actually this year, not too long ago, actually. So the fact that she's the twin sister of Wonder Woman is deeply intriguing. I think this panel is going to be really intriguing.
Yeah.
And with such a big spotlight on Wonder Woman, I'm really eager to kind of to be a part of this one and find out what they're going to talk about and a little bit more about the underworld and what that character delivers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really intrigued by that one and one that I'm looking forward to, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So our next panel, you may hear a faint ticking in the background. Tick, tick, tick. And that's because it's about Watchmen. That's right. So we've got the expansion of DC's Watchmen universe panel. So it's an in-depth discussion about DC's upcoming Rorschach comic book with writer Tom King and artist Jorge Fornes, moderated by Watchmen TV series creator Damon Lindelof. 25-minute panel. I am pretty intrigued by this. I'm actually reading Watchmen right now. Well, not right now as
Oh,
we're talking, but in general, I'm reading it right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, and then when I finish it, I will be watching the TV show because I have not watched the show yet because I wanted to wait until I read it. So
yes, I want to watch the TV show as well because it's won a bunch of awards. The
yeah, it
TV
won.
show.
It was nominated for 26 Emmy awards
Yes,
this year.
yes,
Whew, the most of
huge.
anything. I was like, holy wow, yeah, yeah.
So
We did a
I
big
want to
story
watch.
about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I want to watch the TV show.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I need. Now is the time. I've actually got a couple of TV shows. Sorry, I've finished a couple of TV shows, so I've got some
hmm
time to watch some new ones. I
yeah,
do want to watch Watchmen. So
yeah,
I'll be dialing into this panel. Absolutely. What's the
yeah.
book like, dude? You're reading the book at the moment.
Yeah, I've never read Watchmen before. This is my first time, and it is
Oh, the
intense.
original book.
Yeah, yeah, the original
Ah,
Watchmen.
okay,
Yeah,
okay. Oh, right, okay.
it's intense, man. I love it, but I'm almost done with it. I think I got 3 chapters left, but this new Rorschach book that they're going to be talking about, I'm actually really intrigued. From what it sounds like, it takes place after all the events of I think like even Doomsday Clock and stuff. Um, don't quote me on that. I'm not honestly 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it takes place after all the events of Watchmen and everything. And from what it sounds like, it's not the original Rorschach. So I don't know. So I'm intrigued just to kind of have them talk about it, and so I can
Mm.
learn more about what this comic will be. Just because this whole universe intrigues me, and I really want to dive deeper into it. So yeah,
Yeah, me too. I'll be with you, dude.
yeah, I'm pretty pumped for that. All right, so now this next one is another TV show one. This is a show that I fell in love with from the first episode. It is a DC Universe show. And if you guys aren't watching it, you should be. It's the Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol.
Yes. This and Harley are the two best things that DC Universe has put out, in my opinion. And they are both.
Really? In your
They
opinion,
are.
it's the best one they've put out.
Yeah, and they are both very much not PG friendly. Oh
I
man, it's good stuff.
don't think
But
anything
yeah,
is on the DC Universe streaming service. Their
other
shows
than
aren't.
Young Justice
Yeah,
and
well, yeah,
Stargirl, which is now
yeah,
moving over to CW. But yeah, pretty much yeah, everything else is R rated or
yes.
TVMA, I guess is what the rating would be. But yeah, Doom Patrol. Looks like they're doing a deep dive discussion on these 2 seasons that have passed. The whole cast it looks like is going to be there, including the producers. Man, I'm really really excited for this one. Have you watched Doom Patrol?
I'm going to disappoint you and say I have not watched Doom Patrol.
Oh, killing me, man.
Couple of our. Sorry, man. I don't want to let
No,
you
it's
down.
okay. It's okay. Trust me, I understand. It's hard to watch a lot of stuff. No, I get
The,
it.
a few of our staff in Slack have said to me to watch the show. I think at
Yeah,
one time you told me to watch the show as well. There is
yeah,
another DC Universe show that I am hugely invested in, which we'll talk about maybe later. I think it's in the schedule. But I've not watched Doom Patrol. I do want to watch Doom Patrol, and I'm going to eagerly dial into this panel. Um, to help me get the juices flowing for when I
Yes.
commit to the show.
Now, did you watch the first season of Titans when it dropped way back? Whenever, a
I
couple years
am a
ago. Or...
huge fan of the Titans show on DC
Okay.
Universe, so
Okay.
I did.
So,
Yes.
Doom Patrol appered first there. They had that one
Yes.
episode where they first appeared there.
Yes. Yep.
And
Yep.
so
That was
after,
actually that was a great episode.
yeah.
That was a great episode. I loved that
So
episode.
after that episode aired, but before the show started, I was able to interview April Bowlby, who plays Elasti-Woman. And we talked a bit about, what to expect from that first season before it even came out. And, she revealed that it was nothing like that episode. Essentially, it's not in the same world. And if you watch Crisis, they reveal that Titans and Doom Patrol are not the same Earth.
Yeah. Right.
So
Yep.
the two shows are different. So that episode, I was expecting that. I was expecting to see like that version of the Chief and the events that happened there and the possible tie-in of stuff like that. And it's a completely different actor playing the Chief. And so it's. But the thing is, I didn't like the Chief on the episode of Titans, but I love him in this show. So I think they did a fantastic job. And then we just the podcast crew just interviewed April again after season 2 ended. So we got one pre the show and one after the 2 seasons, and it's a nice kind of bookend for those 2 seasons. A fantastic interview. If you guys out there haven't checked it out, please go over to DCComicsNews.com and check out that interview with April Bowlby. But yeah, I highly recommend anybody who has not watched Doom Patrol to go and do it. It is now on HBO Max. So for those who are able to access HBO Max, I don't think it's outside of the U.S. at the moment. Hopefully they'll figure that out soon. They didn't do that with DC Universe, but hopefully they will with HBO Max.
I still watched it.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, we get some stuff here and there, so
Yeah.
we're able to watch certain things there. So the next panel that I want to kind of look at, it's an episode screening for a show that I watched way back in the day, and I don't know if you did, Static Shock.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I did not watch this back in the day.
Yeah, it looks like, I don't know what episode. It doesn't say. It just says they're going to air an entire episode of the fan favorite animated series Static Shock, co-created by the late Milestone creator Dwayne McDuffie, for who McDuffie's Dakota Theater is named after. So 25 minutes is just an episode, which I think is really neat. So those, like I said, this was something that was out around the same time as like the Justice League series, I believe. It was right around that time frame. And I loved it, and so I've been wanting them to bring something like this back. So like when Black Lightning came about, I was like, sweet, this is really cool. It's not Static Shock, but it's in that vein, but it's live action, and so I'm hoping that they do more with Static Shock. I know that Milestone is supposed to be having a bit of a comeback. I know that they were going to be relaunching it. They had talks about that. I don't know if it's still going to happen, and if so, I don't know when, especially with all the shakeups that have been going on with DC lately. Who knows? But I really hope it happens. So I don't know if you're a fan of Static Shock as a character or not at all, but what do you think?
I'm going to dial in and have a look. Absolutely. I'm eager to learn and experience it for the first time. So, there's my dad. Dad online. But yeah, look, I'm keen to have a look and learn. So not one of my favorite characters on the top of my list, but I'll be there. Definitely.
Cool. All right. And so that's not the only screening that is going to be taking place at DC Fandome.
I love a good screening.
Oh, yes. And this one, I think, may intrigue you a bit more. Deathstroke, Knights and Dragons, the movie.
Yes.
Yeah. So they will be. This is a 90-minute long panel because it's a full screening. This was originally, I believe, a CW Seed type of thing where it was like shorts. So they were like 10 minutes at a time. It's the same way they did There was an animated Constantine movie. There was a Vixen one. They did these all the same way.
Yeah, yeah. I
Where,
remember the Vixen one.
yeah, it's almost like a web series, and then they put it all together as a movie. And as it shows here, it says here, nearly 50 minutes of never before seen content, including the film's thrilling climax. So it's out digitally right now, and it comes
Yes, yes, it
out
is.
on Blu-ray on the 18th, which is what 3 days from now. So right before Fandome hits, it'll be coming out on Blu-ray. So I'm actually pretty excited for this. Uh, it's an R-rated action extravaganza, as it says, and I love Deathstroke. So first off, since it is, I haven't watched it yet, but have you gotten a chance to watch it? And if not, how excited are you to see it?
I'm hugely excited about this one, Josh. It's come out on digital. I noticed that on Apple TV. I've all the Blu-rays and DVDs that I've brought of all the DC animated films over the years. I'm rebuying them on digital now. So
Okay.
this is one that I want to buy. I haven't watched it yet, but I plan to pretty soon. I love the screenings that San Diego Comic-Con did, and lining up and getting in and watching the world premieres of these animated movies. Last year we watched Hush when we were at Comic-Con. So doing something like that again. Deathstroke is my favorite supervillain of the DC universe. I love Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Slade is just fantastic. So I'll be delving into this one. I'm keen to see some of the extra footage. I love the fact that it's R-rated as well. It suits the character. So yeah, bring it on. Love it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it. And not only are we getting a screening for it, but we are getting an actual full panel later in the day for Deathstroke
I love the
Knights and
panels.
Dragons. It says, go behind the mask and into the deep legacy of one of DC's most revered anti-heroes in Deathstroke Knights and Dragons. And yeah, they'll be talking about the movie and diving into stuff like that. I don't know if they'll be taking questions or anything like that, but I think it's interesting. We're going to get that screening and then a 35-minute panel later on. I like that. They tend to do stuff like that at the big cons, San Diego, New York, stuff like that. You get a screening, and then at some point there's also a panel about that film. So I love that they're doing this here as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the panels complement the movies that they show as well. So I'll be part of the crowd watching that one, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So it looks like there is more screenings. Lots of screenings here in the Watchverse island. So this next one is called Immortal Vigilante Hooded Justice. Apparently, it was originally released on the Watchmen, the HBO limited series Blu-ray. It is a documentary that examines the heart-wrenching origin story of the first costumed adventurer in the Watchmen universe, the black superhero known as Hooded Justice. Presumed missing for years, he lives on as an example for Sister Knight and others. So I think this is interesting. It says 11 minutes, and that says 15 minutes. So I'm not sure. We'll just go with 15 minutes. I don't know, but I'm actually really interested to see this. Like I said, as I've been reading Watchmen, it's like I know who Hooded Justice is. I'm actually really interested to see this. I do have the Blu-ray. It was sent to me by WB, which is why I'm trying to watch or read all of Watchmen so that I can watch it and kind of do like a review about it and everything. But I may just wait because I don't know if I'll be done or not. Who knows? We'll see by the time Fandome gets here. But I'll definitely be checking this out. I think it's cool that they're showing more screenings. Like I said, that's 3 screenings now that we've gone over.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. I think that's really cool that they're bringing this kind of stuff to people who may not necessarily have the opportunity to watch these films or documentaries or whatnot. So what are your thoughts on them showing this during Fandome?
Yeah, look, I think the screenings are incredibly important to the schedule because it builds adoption and it builds engagement with what's out there and what's to come. So it's a really smart move by DC. it's and like I've said before, like at Comic-Con and at the kind of events, those screenings are something that are hugely popular that typically people only get a chance to see if you're at the event. So doing them online is incredibly important. I'm going to definitely try and check this one out too. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have a panel for a brand new show that will be dropping whenever shows come back. I suppose it's slated for this, upcoming season, but we'll see how that turns out. That's Superman and Lois. Yes, with Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulick. I don't know. First off, what are your thoughts on the two of them as Superman and Lois? And is this show something that you're interested in checking out?
I'm definitely interested in checking it out. I mean, we asked some questions earlier on whether Tyler was going to get his own show as Superman, and he will. I loved him at the start of Supergirl and the guidance that he gave Supergirl, because she was trying to figure her world out, and he was there in the background. So I will be checking this show out. I think they do have a chemistry between them, and I'd love to see them on screen together and a show focused just on them. How popular the show will be is yet to be seen, obviously, but it is a show that I'm definitely interested in. I've grown to love Superman a little bit more over the years, but yeah, absolutely keen to check out what Tyler has got to give us as Superman. And I've got a lot of respect for him. We interviewed him a couple of times at some of the Supergirl roundtables over the years. So yeah, bring it on, man. What about you?
Yeah, I was first introduced to him from the MTV Teen Wolf show.
Yes.
He was in that. And so when they announced that he was going to be playing Superman, I was like, I don't know, man. Like, all I can ever picture him is like as this bad I'm not going to swear on this, but you know what I mean? But like not the hometown guy who's doing everything right. Now, his character on Teen Wolf was the opposite of that. And so it was kind of hard for me to kind of envision him as this character when it was first announced. But I got to say, I really like what he's done with it. I really enjoy, and Bitsy Tulick, I watched on a show called Grimm, and she was fantastic. So I was super pumped when she became Lois, and them getting their own show. Like, I know a lot of people were worried that like Supergirl would get canceled and then a Superman show would take over, just because of misogyny and all that stuff. And so I'm glad to see that these two shows are happening at the same time. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's not that one is going to go away so that another one can come. It's no, they're going to run at the same time because they both deserve shows. You know? And so
absolutely.
And I loved the old Lois and Clark show back in the day.
Oh, I remember back in the day with Dean Cain.
So getting like essentially a new version of that is kind of cool, man. I think. Yeah,
it's cool. Like that. Very cool. It makes it makes the future crossovers interesting as well, because we're going to get crossovers now with different shows. So bring it on.
Yeah. All right. So this next one, we're stepping away from TV a little bit and going into radio. Yes, that's right. I said radio.
The old traditional radio.
The Creative Coalition presents Superman Radio Show world premiere. It says using original scripts from the 1940s Superman radio series, Tim Daly, for those of you who are not aware, he did the voice of Superman in the animated series and in Justice League, and an all-star cast including Eric McCormick, Henry Winkler, Elfrey Woodard, Jason Alexander, Giancarlo Esposito, CCH Pounder, Troyan Belisario, Wilson Cruz, Anthony Rapp, Leah Delaria, and many others provide new voices to these classic episodes. 70 minutes. I think this is awesome to be able to hear these old Superman radio series, but with updated voices and probably sound effects and things like that. What are your thoughts on this? Is this something that you are excited about?
I am, because we're going back to our roots, right? We're going back to where it all began. You know, the beginning of the DC universe was very different to what we experience today. So bringing that back, putting it to current age and experiencing that, I'm up for it. It's a different medium. It's a different experience. And we've got to pay homage to kind of where it all began. So I'm super pumped for this. I think it'll be something different that we should give it a chance. So why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm so intrigued by the concept behind it, and I hope that it's something that they do more of after this. Because if it works, man, I would listen to a whole like podcast of them doing these things, just like every week or whatever, every week or two, just dropping a new episode like that. I think it'd be awesome because those radio serials ran for a long time, so there's probably lots of scripts that they could use and recreate. And so,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
there'd be
think
a lot of content there that they can that they can use again.
yeah.
Yep.
All right. So the next one is once again we're talking about premieres and screenings, and we got Superman, Man of Tomorrow, the new animated film, world premiere here. 90 minutes. They're going to be showing the movie here. I'm actually super excited for this. It says be among the first fans to witness the world premiere screening of Superman, Man of Tomorrow. The digital doesn't drop until the 23rd. So this will be before it drops digitally. So this is literally a world premiere. The fans who are here to watch it are getting to see it first before anybody else, and I think that's awesome. What are your thoughts? Is this one that you're excited about?
I'm super pumped for this, and I want to be part of the world premiere as well. I love what DC have done such a good job at their animated film universe. Such a good job. I'm pumped for this movie, so I'm not going to wait until it's released. I'll be with you, dude. I'll be experiencing it for the first time. Bring it on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It sounds fantastic, and so I love just how many different screening type things that they're doing throughout this entire event. And so I'm really excited to see what else may be on the docket coming up here soon. So let's see, what else do we got next? We have
Hello to Dragon Man.
Hello, Dragon Man. All right. So next we have Lucifer, the TV show, doing their panel, which I'm excited for because the new season is coming soon, I believe, right around the time of either right before or right after Fandome season 5 will drop, and they've already said that they're going to be doing a season 6, which will be what they described as the final season because they said season 5 was going to be the final season. But then there was so much like fan outcry wanting more that they worked it out and got another season greenlit, which is fantastic. The show went, I think, three seasons on Fox, and then it went over to Netflix. They did their season 4 there, and so like everybody thought the show was done after season 3, and then all of a sudden now we're getting 6 seasons of this show, and it's like, and I love it. It's such a good show. I don't know if you've watched Lucifer at all, but
I watched the
such a
first season
fun
of
show.
Lucifer. Yeah, but again,
It's nothing like the
show
comic. So if you guys out there, if you're like huge fans of the comic, don't come into this show thinking that this is an adaptation of the comic. It's really not. It's more like a police procedural, at least at the start. But the character work in it, I think, is fantastic from all these people, and it gets into a bit more of the mythology stuff in the later seasons, especially in the Netflix season that they did. And I'm assuming they'll probably dive even more so in these 2 new seasons when they come out. So,
yeah, bring it on.
Yeah, 20 minutes. I think that's not too bad of a time frame. It's a little short in general, but I feel like it's one of the shows that's not as hyped as much as some of the others. So it doesn't surprise me that it's only
a bit less.
Yeah, it's only 20 minutes. So. But this next one is a show that you have stated that you are a big fan of.
Titans. Yes. I'm a huge fan of this show. Huge fan.
And I love the opening line. I'm not going to say it out loud, but there it is.
Such a good line. It's such a good line. Well done, Robin. Well done.
Yes. So it looks like the entire cast is going to be there, and they're going to preview the new season, as well as have a discussion on the top Titans moments from the first two seasons. 30-minute panel. What are your thoughts on this?
I
How
love
excited
this
are
show.
you? Yeah.
I'm super excited about this one. When I like a show, I'm fully in, and I didn't know what to expect watching season one.
Yeah.
But I just thought, I don't know. For me, a lot of people online had a lot of criticism for the show, but for me, there wasn't a single episode that I didn't like. For me, there were no fillers. I really enjoyed season one. The end of season one with, for lack of a better term, the nightmare sequence with Batman snapping was. I was so intrigued by that last episode about what Batman could be if he snapped. And season two went from strength to strength. We saw Bruce Wayne and a very different persona of Bruce Wayne, which I thought was quite interesting and intriguing. I didn't mind that persona of Bruce Wayne. He's clearly retired, but he's still very much looked up to by the Titans, and there is still intrigue that sits in front of Bruce Wayne, I think. And the end of season two, the climax of the birth of Nightwing was phenomenal. And I loved the suit. The suit was awesome. So, and the persona of Deathstroke in season two was absolutely brilliant. They nailed Deathstroke for me in season two. So I'm really pumped for season three. I want COVID over so they can start filming.
So quick question. Yeah. Which Deathstroke do you like better? That one or the Arrow version? Putting you on the spot.
Jeez, you're putting me on the spot here. Damn it.
Everybody out there watching, please comment in the YouTube comment section or hit us up on Twitter at DC Comics News and let us know which of the those two Deathstrokes you like better.
I'm not gonna sit on the fence. I have to make a decision. I haven't done this before, so you are putting me on the spot here. But I am gonna say, I think Deathstroke from Arrow is a slight winner, slight edge, very slight edge.
I agree with you. So I was wondering if we'd be on the same page or not. So
yeah, just slightly.
All right. And so as I was scrolling down through, I noticed they're doing the panel to go along with Superman and Man of Tomorrow.
Perfect.
Which is great, So we have the 90-minute movie and then a 50-minute panel to talk about everything that went on with that movie. So I think that'll be pretty exciting. So especially because I'm super excited for this movie. So next will be Young Justice, and this one is something a little different. It's Young Justice cast, audio play, performance, and panel. That's something different. It says, calling all Young Justice fans. Can't wait for season 4? Well, we couldn't wait either, so DC Fandome has something special, guaranteed to leave you feeling more than just whelmed. Join executive producers Greg Weisman and Brandon Vietti, plus voice cast members Jason Spizek, Kari Payton, Stephanie Lamellin, Nolan North, Denise Boot, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Danica McKellar, and Crispin Freeman for a special audio play performance of a brand new Young Justice episode.
Interesting.
It's not an old episode. This is a brand new one. And then after the table read, they will do a Q&A session and then preview the new season. So first off, I'm pretty sure this is the first that we have heard about a new season. I don't remember an announcement, like an official announcement about a season 4.
I haven't heard about a season 4 either, other than what's come up in the schedule here. So
it's like they just slipped in a little announcement that they're doing a season 4. Now, if I missed an announcement somewhere down the line, I don't know, but I feel like no one talks about Young Justice. There hasn't been any news. I haven't seen anything about it in a long time. And it seems like they just slipped in we're doing a season 4, guys, and it's coming to Fandome. So
yeah, it's pretty awesome. And they're going to do a live reading as well, which is going to be great.
Yeah.
So
I think the fact that it's a live reading of a new episode is, I think that's awesome.
I
I'm
don't think I've ever
fascinated by
I
that.
don't think we've ever experienced anything like that before.
Yeah, not that I know of, not of a new episode. Like
No,
I've
no.
seen table reads of other things like for the show Community. They just recently did a table read for a charity event for COVID with one of their episodes, which was really cool. It was really neat to see. Um, but to see a new episode done that way, I'm interested because you won't have anything to kind of base it off of. It's not like you've seen the episode and can envision, what the characters are doing.
Mm,
Because you've seen it, it's all gonna be just imagination on the viewer's part at that point. So I'm pretty excited to see what they do and what kind of information they give us for the new season. And I kind of hope
absolutely.
they give us the title because every season has had a new subtitle. So I'm hoping that they give us that whatever the subtitle for season 4 will be. All right, so this one I'm actually particularly excited for. It's a comic book one. It's Teen Titans Spotlight on Cami Garcia and Gabriel Piccolo. They did Teen Titans Raven and are doing Teen Titans Beast Boy, the two young adult graphic novels, which is going to be part of a whole series of them. And that Teen Titans Raven book, I loved. I absolutely loved it. I interviewed her at New York Comic Con, and then we had her on the DC Comics News podcast to talk about this book and some other stuff. She also does Harley Quinn criminal or Joker Harley criminal sanity, which is a fantastic book. If you guys haven't read that yet, it's so good. It's definitely a mature audience book, but
Yeah,
I highly recommend it. Have you, by any chance, read this Teen Titans Raven book at all?
I did. I've actually read that book. So I read that
Awesome.
book and I absolutely really, really enjoyed it. I didn't know what to expect, and it was something very, very different from me. So
Yeah.
quite unique. So I'm looking forward to this. I'll definitely be dialing in. Um, but they're releasing, you were saying, a book for each character.
Yeah.
Is that is that correct? Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean,
So
that's where it seems it's supposed to be it's a series of these books, and they've done Raven and they're doing Beast Boy, so it seems that I don't know what if they're going to do like the core five that we currently know, with Raven, Beast Boy, Robin, and or Nightwing, depending on which route they decide to go, Starfire, and possibly Cyborg. If you were like watching the TV show and stuff like that, that would be the one on there. Or if they'll dive into some other characters, like you have Hawk and Dove on the Titans show, so theoretically they could utilize something like that.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
yeah, and I'll be honest, no matter who they choose to do, I'll be reading it because she's a
yeah, definitely.
fantastic. Cami Garcia is a fantastic writer. She's a prose writer, so she wrote novels before this, and she knows how to get into a character's head. And it was a great read, and I'm really excited for this Beast Boy book. So
Yeah, yep,
yeah.
absolutely.
All right, the next one, we're getting back to some TV stuff. This is another DC Universe show that has really popped off recently. People have seemed to be loving it. I have not had a chance to watch it yet, but it sounds really good, and it is Stargirl.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm like you. I haven't had a chance to watch Stargirl yet. I am intrigued. I do want to check it out. But it's
Yeah.
funny the fact that I haven't personally watched the show yet. I'm intrigued to be part of the panel and see
Yeah.
what they have to say. So
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, a lot of people were worried about it because when it launched, they did the simulcast with CW. So like from the get go, it was airing on DC Universe and then on CW the next day. And so
yeah,
people, and so like, and you got to see some of the costuming beforehand, and people were not keen on it. But that's how most of the CW shows, like when they just release a still of the costuming for the first time, most people aren't a big fan of it. Like I've seen
yeah,
that
yeah,
quite a bit. And
yeah.
then
No,
you
been
get
consistent
into
in the
the
past.
show and see how it works in the context of the show. And people came around on it, and I have heard pretty much nothing but good things about this show. So I'm pretty excited to. I really want to start watching it, and I'm pretty excited to see what they have to say in this panel. So.
Yep, I'm with you on that one.
All right. There's a couple of smaller panels. So we have this one called Inside Injustice, Making the Hit Games and Comics. So it's an inside look at the creation of the Injustice games and comic books. I don't know if that's... I've never played... I played like the mobile version of the Injustice games, but I haven't gotten a chance to play like the console games. Have you played any of the Injustice games or read any of the comics?
Yeah, so I read all the comics for Injustice. It was an awesome story.
Have you started
Injustice...
reading the new one? There's a new
Zero
digital
Year?
only. Zero, yeah.
No, I haven't. I've got it on my list.
Okay.
I'm probably going to get to that after Joker War, after I finish Joker War.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played Justice League on PlayStation 3, which I thought was awesome. And then Justice League 2 came out on PlayStation 4. So I've got that. I play it every now and then with... there we go. Sean's telling us that Stargirl's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
Sean, one of our reviewers over at DCN. Thanks, Sean. Yeah,
yeah.
He reviews this show, so great stuff.
I'm playing Justice League. It's Justice League. Playing Injustice 2 on PlayStation 4. I play with my 6-year-old son. He loves it.
Nice.
He likes being all the female characters, and I'm always Batman, so we have a go on that one. But and I used to play it on mobile as well. I used to play for hours, Josh. I would get home from work, and I would play Injustice on my... I think when it came out, I think the iPhone 5 was out, I think. Man, I would sit on my phone for like 3 or 4 hours at night playing that game, unlocking everything. My battery would go flat almost because I was obsessed with that game. But nice. Yeah, I mean, I'll attend this panel. I'm really intrigued. So Injustice was such a great story, and just how bad Superman could be if he wasn't a Boy Scout.
Yeah. And so do you think that's the route they're going with that Suicide Squad game? Just from the look of it?
Look, potentially, if you look at his eyes in that poster, Superman, it could be the angle of Clark is out of control and the Justice League weren't able to reel him in. The Justice League is gone. So the Suicide Squad comes in. There's a target on his head. Maybe that's the story.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So this next
one... If anything, we just wrote our own story.
That's right. This next one is about someone who we have talked about many times during this stream. The one, the only, Mr. Jim Lee.
Yes.
They will be screening Creating Heroes, The Life and Art of Jim Lee. It is a documentary that explores the work of Jim Lee from his early days to his current position at DC. This apparently was featured on Justice League War. Again, I have to go and check out those special features because I did not see that on my DVD. We'll have to see if I have that on the DVD. But I'm actually pretty excited to check out this documentary. I'm a big fan of documentaries, particularly if they have to deal with comic books, since that's a big passion of mine. So
yes, absolutely.
Anytime I get to see kind of the inner workings of stuff and to get essentially a behind the scenes about Jim Lee, I mean, I think that'll be fantastic. So is this something that you are looking forward to checking out?
Look, I'm super passionate about, like you, about documentaries behind comic books and how stories have evolved. There was one a few years back about Bill Finger and Bob Kane's Batman, which was super emotional.
Batman and Bill on Hulu, I think.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, that's right. So I'll be dialing into this. I can't find the words to describe what I think about Jim Lee's work. Jim he's a living legend, and his work just stands out above and beyond everybody else's for me. So this man is so talented. We are so lucky to experience what he's been able to give us over the years. So I'll be definitely watching this one.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, this next one I'm actually pretty intrigued by. It's for a book that has been talked about and slated for like the last 2 years. They've been talking about this book and saying, "Here, it's coming, it's coming," and it hadn't come. But now it's finally making its way, and it's the other history of the DC universe. So this panel is called John Ridley and the Other History of the DC Universe. This will take a look inside the miniseries that's coming this November called The Other History of DC Universe, which presents an alternate look at the DC Universe through the eyes of its superheroes of color. 20-minute panel about this. I'm really excited for this because I've been waiting for this miniseries to come out. Like I said, they announced it I think back in 2018, and it's been on my like whenever stuff gets announced, I write it down so that I can keep track of when things are coming. So that because of all of our reviewers, if people want to request books to review and stuff like that. So this has been on my list since 2018 with a big question mark next to it because there's never been a date set for it. And so now it's coming in November, so I'm like, this is awesome. I'm so excited. Is this something that you have been following at all? Is it something that you are familiar with? Is it something that you're excited about?
Yeah, definitely. I've been slightly following it as well, and it kind of dropped off my radar because nothing had happened for such a long period of time. But the DC, getting a holistic look at the DC universe, we've had one lens on it for a long period of time, but getting it through this lens now is really, really unique and something that we should definitely take time for and experience. Whenever you get one view of the world and then you get an alternate view, it just really changes perspective.
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm really, really interested in experiencing. So sign me up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pumped for it. So I'm glad they're doing a panel about it and really talking about it and everything. So,
Mm.
all right, this next one, TV show panel. Now this show, I watched the first half. Then Crisis happened, and I haven't picked it back up just because of life. Just like you said, sometimes you just don't have enough time to watch everything. But a lot of controversy took place after the season ended, and that's Batwoman.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
I'm the
I
same
did.
as you, dude.
Yeah. Did you watch any of it?
I watched Batwoman up until the
Up
crossover,
until
and I haven't
Crisis.
picked
Okay.
up Batwoman since. And I've
Yeah.
had intentions of, but to be honest, now I'm in two minds whether I pick it back up,
Yeah.
knowing that there's going to be a fair bit of change. Um, so
Yeah. I mean, I'm interested to see how they pull it off for this new season with this new Batwoman. I know it's not Kate Kane, it's a different character, but I'm just interested to see how they cover it. I guess Kate Kane goes missing, but will they just eventually kill her off? Will they eventually recast her? Like I have no idea. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see if they talk about what their plans are in that aspect at all. The actress Javicia Leslie, who plays the new character named Ryan Wilder, who will be the new Batwoman, she will be at this panel along with a bunch of the other cast and the executive producers. So I'll be honest, I'm actually really intrigued to see the panel just to find out what they're going to be doing next season. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm the same as you. I'm intrigued to find out what the strategy is and how they're going to, how much are they going to tell us and what the show's going to look like moving forward. Part of me, I hate stopping shows halfway through a season and then not picking them up again. So I feel
yeah,
like there's an obligation to myself to watch the rest
yeah,
of the first season of Batwoman. I did
yeah,
like Ruby Rose. I actually did.
yeah,
Well, I know a lot of people didn't. I did like
yeah.
her persona of Batwoman. The
Mm-hmm.
the story for me was a little bit lackluster. I wanted to like it more, but I was struggling to a little bit. The one thing that kept me engaged, one was Ruby Rose, and two was the fact that it was linked to the disappearance of Batman and Bruce Wayne. And because I love Batman so much, there was a link there. Arrow was gone. I needed something to anchor on. So I was trying to love it.
Yeah,
So we'll see how we go.
yeah, yeah. I'm definitely intrigued to see what they do. All right, so for this next one, this is a panel about a show that has come and gone. It was I don't even remember when this show first came out. I think it was okay. Here it says 2006 to 2008. This show came out, and they just recently released the complete series on Blu-ray. It's an animated show. I don't know if you ever watched it, but I really enjoyed it. Legion of Superheroes.
I did not watch this show. No.
Yeah, yeah. I really dug it. You know, it's set in the 31st century. It's all the future stuff. So I think that the fact that they're doing a panel about it, I think is really interesting. Like I said, I know that they just they just released it on Blu-ray, and so obviously they're probably trying to promote that in some way. But I don't know. It almost makes me wonder if they're setting up to do something in the vein of that, or maybe a spin-off series of it. I don't know. But it could just be because of the release of it. But I mean, they release stuff on Blu-ray all the time, and they don't give panels to it. So I don't know. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts on that?
yeah. Yeah, well, it feels like one, it's definitely a promotion for for the Blu-ray release, but
Yeah,
something tells us that maybe there's something else to it, and they could be releasing or making an announcement. So I'll definitely be, even though I haven't watched the show, I'll definitely be interested in checking that out and see what they have to say.
yeah.
Definitely.
All right. This okay. So this Watchverse island, I have noticed, is not following the 8 hour chunk block like the other one. It's just going and going and going. They have so many good things going on in here. I'm probably going to be locked into this island for a large portion of the 24-hour live stream that I'll be doing. It's going to be crazy, but this next one is something that, as soon as I heard the announcement about it, I was intrigued. And that is Batman Death in the Family. It is the DC Showcase Shorts collection. They did one of these in the past. It was called, I think it was Superman Shazam, The Return of Black Adam, or something like that, I believe is what it was. And it's where
Yes. Yep.
they collected all the DC Showcase short films into one, and then gave you a new one, which was the Superman Shazam one. This is that again. It's collecting all the various short films that they have put out recently, but it is adding a new one, Death in the Family, and this one isn't your ordinary. First, it is what they call an extended short, so it's longer than their normal ones, and it is fully interactive. Now, what that means is if you have watched the Black Mirror episode Bandersnatch, or the recent Kimmy Schmidt episode Kimmy versus the Reverend, it's like a choose your own adventure. So you'll be watching it, something will happen, and you'll be able to choose between a couple of different paths. And based on what you choose is how the story forms. And I'm so fascinated by this. The Blu-ray apparently will include, or not the Blu-ray, the digital will include various versions of that. So that you'll get, instead of being able to go through the path, you'll get like one that kind of lead, and then there's some other branches that it'll lead toward that way. But the Blu-ray will be fully interactive, where you get to choose and kind of move through it and experience it over and over again in very different ways. You get to, just like they did way back in the day, you get to decide if Jason Todd lives or dies. And I think that's fantastic.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, man.
what are your thoughts on this whole interactive thing, on the movie itself, and the fact that it's interactive?
I think the fact that it's interactive brings just a different experience for DC fans. It's a first of its kind in the DC universe. I love the fact that we can choose whether Jason Todd dies or survives. Back in the day, I think it was back in 1988, you had to ring a number,
Yes.
whether you wanted him to die or not, and that collated all the votes, which determined the fate of Jason. If anyone is a DC fan and hasn't read Death in the Family, you have to read it. It's one of the most iconic stories of all time. I don't typically buy the Blu-rays anymore, but for this particular reason, I am going to buy the Blu-ray when this comes out, and I'll look at the digital version as well. But I think this is so intriguing. The fact that we can dive into a DC film and actually be part of it, is so cool, right? So
Yeah.
sign me up. Yeah, sign me up.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the. Yeah. I don't buy the animated movies all that often. They're good. There's so many of them that I think I'd go
Yeah.
broke trying to get them all. And so this is definitely one that I'm like, I will be there as soon as that thing hits the shelves, getting that and checking out just how interactive this thing really gets. So, all right, next up is Harley Quinn. So, like I talked about before, this Harley Quinn animated series. I love this first line here. Drop the kiddies off at the DC Kids verse and head over to the Harley Quinn panel. It's fantastic. We're going to get a breakdown, I assume, of these 2 seasons and maybe some insight into what may be in store. Or I should say, yeah, it is 2 seasons. Because originally it was 1 season that was split into 2 parts the way they do Young Justice. But then they just made each half its own separate season. So I'm hoping that we get some insight into what we might get in season 3, and maybe like when we might see season 3. But man, you gotta watch Harley Quinn. It is so good. It's so good. How old is your kid?
So Eric is 6, and his favorite show is oh my god, I've had a mental blank now. He's Teen Titans.
Okay.
But he loves Harley Quinn.
Okay.
And Jasmine is 11. And she's
I'd say wait till they're in bed.
She can't I don't want I'm dropping her off at the DC Kids verse. But I'll be there. I'll be there with you, my friend.
Yeah, man,
definitely.
You got it. It's so good, and they do stuff in that show that you're like, I can't believe they just did that. Like I'm not gonna spoil anything, but there are certain characters, well-known characters, that they kill. Flat out.
I'm gonna check the show. I haven't watched the show. I'm gonna check the show out.
Yeah, so it's high. Like, anytime somebody asks me, what good DC shows should I be watching? This is one of the top ones that I always recommend just because of how good it is. All right, now this next one is a comic book panel, and it's one that you've been reading because you mentioned it earlier. Batman: The Joker War.
Yes.
So it looks like they'll be diving into it. You got James Tynion, you got Cecil Castellucci, Jorge Jimenez, Dan Jurgens. And it looks like John Ridley will be there as a special guest as well, breaking down what's going on in this big Joker War event. I haven't gotten to break into this event yet, but since I know you have, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
Such an intriguing story. It's awesome that DC have put together a story that's quite unique. What I can say is that the big difference between this story and what's transpired in the past between Joker and Batman is that Joker has always wanted Batman around because he's his other half, and he's always wanted his attention, and Joker's always enjoyed kind of stringing Batman along. And this is at a very high level is essentially about the Joker is not going to string him along anymore. He wants to put an end to it. He's decided that he's going to put an end to all of it. And it's something that they're the books that make up the main story, but then there are surrounding books that lead into Joker War. And I've just finished reading the books leading up to Joker War, and I highly recommend that you read the books leading up to the main event. And the main event is a crossover between Detective Comics and Batman Rebirth.
Okay.
But it just goes to show how much of a supervillain Joker is, how intelligent he is, and how instinctive he is as well. And I tell you what, Bruce Wayne is up against it, mate, because Joker has planned for everything. Anything you can think of, he's got an answer for. And I am I'm highly engaged. But the fact that Joker wants to end it all now, he's had enough, was enough for me to dive in. So
Nice.
I'm reading that, and at the same time, I'm trying to buy all the covers as
Oh
well,
yeah.
which is proving to be very hard. A lot of the variant covers are already gone, so
Oh
I'm
yeah.
trying to find a way to get access to them. But get into it, Josh. This is huge.
Yeah. It's looks and sounds awesome, and I'm so far behind on a lot of my comic reading, so it's definitely one that
There's
I
a
want to
lot
get
to
into.
read. There's a lot to
Yeah.
read. Yeah, yeah.
But that's not the only Batman and Joker book coming out soon, and they got another panel for Batman 3 Jokers.
It's another story coming out.
Yes.
Yeah,
This has been in the works. They announced this a long time ago.
they did. Was it earlier in the
Yeah.
year they announced this? The
I
artwork, some of the
I
artwork
mean,
came
no,
out.
no, they announced this at
Or was
least a
it love?
year, if not
Was it that long
maybe.
ago now?
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it might have even been 2018. Uh I'd
oh,
have to go back. I think it actually was because I'm pretty sure it's on the same list that I had the other history of DC comics on. I'm pretty sure I had them like right next to each other because I tend to write
I
them in
didn't
the order
realize it
that I
was that
find
long
them.
ago.
Yeah, but then it just things weren't happening. It's Jeff Johns working on this one. He's a busy guy doing a whole lot of stuff, and they wanted to make sure that it's him and Jason Fabok doing it. They want to make sure they get it right. And it's only a 3 issue book, from what I understand. It's a 3 issue
Yeah,
mini.
yep, yep.
And so I'm really intrigued, and we're finally going to get some more insight. It seems like in this, it's only a 20-minute panel, but it seems like we're going to get some insight into this miniseries that seems it's been pretty highly anticipated. So I'm excited for it. Is this something that you're looking forward to? 3 Jokers?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any story where you've got Joker and Batman on center stage, I'm going to sign myself up for. Absolutely. So this
Yeah,
is one that I'm really, really interested in. On our Instagram feed, we've posted some of the artwork, some of the cover work
yeah,
for 3 Jokers. So if you haven't seen them, the artwork's amazing. Please
yeah. They've
check
dropped
out.
some great covers, and they haven't even released all of
Yeah,
them. There's a
yeah.
lot of stuff. Yeah,
It's on my cover on my iPhone. I've got we haven't seen it, but I've got the Batman
nice,
cover on my iPhone.
nice.
So yeah, I love the artwork.
All right, so this next one, we're staying in the realm of comics, staying in the realm of the Dark Knight, but a different kind of Dark Knight. Dark Knight's death metal.
Oh
Yes.
yes.
They're doing take a tour of DC's death metal verse. So it says explore every corner of the horrifying landscape of Dark Knight's death metal, from Castle Bat and New Apocalypse to the Atomic Wastelands and beyond. Nice 30-minute panel. I assume Scott Snyder will be heading that panel since he is the guy bringing all this Dark Knight stuff to life. I'm super excited. I've been loving it. And we just recently interviewed Scott Snyder,
Yes.
and another fantastic interview from my team over at the podcast channel. Man, he originally I think we were supposed to have him on for like half an hour, and he stayed for like over an hour just chatting with us about death metal, about American Vampire, all kinds of stuff. His run on Batman, everything. It was fantastic. So definitely go check that out. But if you're not reading death metal, do that. If you haven't read Dark Knight's Metal, the first part of this entire new universe that he's created, go and read that. The whole thing with the Batman who laughs, all these
So good.
these dark
So good.
multiverse Batman. It's incredible stuff. It's just incredible stuff. So highly recommend checking that out. And that's definitely a panel I know I will be checking out and seeing what they have going on there. So
I'll be
all
there
right,
too, my friend.
absolutely. So let's see if there's anything. It looks like most of the rest of the part for the night for this is all encore stuff, which is good. So it's like, a lot of those TV panels, if you're not able to grab them that first time, they are doing encores later on. Like I said, it's not going in the 8-hour block, but at some point there is another opportunity for people to watch all of those
Mm.
things. The next couple I'm just going to kind of go through quickly. We'll start with the kids verse. Looks like they got one called. So see, we got Ask Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Raven. It's probably going to be similar to that Harley Quinn one that I was talking about, where it's probably these animated characters answering questions, which I think would be fun. My kid loves Teen Titans Go. She's 5 years old and absolutely loves it, and I bet she would love this one. Then it looks like they're doing a sneak peek of season 2 of DC Superhero Girls, which is a really good show. I really enjoy that. Have you watched any of DC Superhero Girls? Because they moved it over. It used to be a YouTube show, and then they moved it over to Cartoon Network.
Yeah, I've watched some of it, and I recently read some of the books because
Yeah.
back in 2015, we were at Comic Con. I got some of the books for my daughter. So I have watched some of those. Yeah, definitely. But like you, my boy Eric, he loves Teen Titans Go. He watches it on Netflix. It's on all the time in our house. It's such a great show, and we've interviewed the voice actors at Comic Con at some of the roundtables as well, and they've been so good to talk to. So I might try and bring Eric along to that one and get him to experience that. He'd love that.
Nice, nice. All right, so then some of the other ones we got Teen Titans Go cast table read and panel, which I think that's pretty cool. DC karaoke, read-alongs, an artist alley thing. We got drawing along with Jim Lee, which is cool. Jim Lee
That's
doing
super
everything.
cool.
Jim Lee doing
Yeah,
all
that's
kinds
super
of
cool.
stuff, man. DC origami, something called Batman Carpool. I have
What's
no idea.
that?
I'm kind of curious. Most of these are all on demand. So it's not like you have to go at a certain time, which makes sense for kids. You get it to
Of
them when you
course.
can. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you can go throughout the entire event whenever you have the opportunity. So let's see. This Batman Carpool says a veritable multiverse of Batman collide in this off-the-wall scenario. Check out what happens when one Batman from an animated series comes face to face with a different Batman from an animated
Oh,
series.
that's
It's a
super
bat
cool.
off. Yeah, that sounds really neat.
That's
I,
awesome.
I dig that. So I think Batman is my daughter's favorite superhero. So I think she'd love that. All right, then they have a kids comic book reader, some Lego stuff, which is cool. Teen
I
Titans
love.
Go
I'm such a huge fan of
Fitness.
Lego.
That's neat. So yeah, there's some good stuff here for kids. Definitely check that stuff out. Uh,
Absolutely.
the Uverse, like I said, I think it's mostly like fan art and cosplay, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
As you can see, a fan art gallery, fan cosplay and fandom. Let's see, some DIY series, so you're probably like making stuff. Another Jim Lee thing right there, talent answer fan questions there. So it looks like Jim Lee's gonna be answering some questions. And then something at the bottom here called "To the Batmobile."
Oh
Which
man,
let's take a
look at
quick look
that.
at take a quick
That's
look what this
awesome.
is. Yeah, that's really neat. This is it's the most iconic car in pop culture history. So who doesn't want their very own version of the Batmobile? While these avid fans don't have the combined resources of Wayne Enterprises behind them, they have the passion, along with some mad skills, that they use to build their own versions. Meet the fans who are making their dream a reality on wheels. So it looks like fans who've made their own Batmobiles and stuff. So I might check that out. That sounds pretty cool.
I'm definitely checking that out. If there's anything that I would love to do at some point in my life is build my own Batmobile. Highly
Yeah.
unlikely, but I'm holding out, Josh. I'm holding out.
Hey, you never say never. You know what I mean? Never say never.
That's it, man. That's it.
All right, then we got the Funverse. So this one I think is like a lot of installations and things like that. So it's like got like the Bat Cave, which I'm assuming check real quick. I'm assuming you can go in and kind of like it's like you're in the Bat Cave and you're messing around with stuff. So yeah, so
That's
dive
awesome.
into the Bat Cave and take a look at Batman's famous Batmobiles, costumes, and gear. If you're a true detective, you might even discover the Joker escape room and other hidden Easter eggs. So that sounds pretty
Ooh.
neat. And then you've got an art installation. You got the official DC Fandome store.
Oh, there's
All
a
kinds of
store.
yeah. So you can like buy
They're not.
stuff like merchandise things. Yeah.
That's cool.
Customized your DC Chevy Trailblazer. Apparently, I'm
Oh,
assuming Chevy is a sponsor of some sort. I don't know. Wonder Woman's golden armor. I'm interested into what this might be. Let's take a look. Fans can get a close look at Wonder Woman's incredible golden armor from the upcoming Wonder Woman 84. Check out every detail from the awesome helmet to the golden wings. And be sure to use they have an AR Instagram filter to place yourself behind the poster as well. That's cool.
That's
really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
And McFarlane Toys have released a Golden Armor Wonder Woman as part of I think it's the second wave as well, which looks fantastic.
That's awesome. I love those McFarlane toys that they've been doing.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good.
So let's see, they've got some trivia, looks like, a comic reader, a selfie station, which sounds pretty cool.
Yes.
Some Lego stuff. Discover a rare Lego Batmobile.
Oh, I wonder which one they're talking about.
I know you were working on one. Did you ever finish the one you were working on?
Yeah, so behind me just here is the 1989 Batmobile. It's a little bit dark, but that one there. Yeah, so that took me on and off about 6 weeks to build, but it's huge. I got it for my birthday earlier on in the year. So that one's super cool. I had so much fun building it. So much fun.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So this one says, check out the Lego Batmobile from Chevrolet and learn how the Lego model builders brought it to life. Interesting.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Lego. Definitely checking that out.
On demand, can watch it at your leisure. And then a Suicide Squad comic book cover creator thing. That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Your own comic book cover. And then the last island is the Insiderverse, which is I feel like it's going to be a lot of comic book type stuff and some of the other. So you got like designing the animated heroes, the Hot Wheels one. This one I'm actually really interested in, the Inside Editions panel. We do a lot of stuff with Inside Editions.
We do, yes.
We review a lot of their books, and it looks like they are going to be showcasing some new stuff, some new DC titles that are coming this fall. I'm real excited. I'm assuming, because they have a Batman the Animated Series art book coming, and so I'm hoping that they do talk about that one. So, because it looks great. And so I'm real excited to check out this Inside Editions panel that they got going on here. And then they got DK Book Publishers, how DC books get made. So that's kind of cool if you're into
that's awesome.
Publishing and stuff. You got a Penguin Random House panel. Artists from around the world draw, and so it's like how I broke into comics. So they got Gabriel Piccolo, you got Emmanuel Lupacino, Jamal Campbell. So it's like you get a little bit of a spotlight on some of these international artists and writers and whatnot, which I think is really, really cool as well. Art Germ, it looks like they're doing one. Let's see. The Costumes of Batman returns. Ooh, where did it go?
That's pretty cool.
Bloop, bloop. There it is. Sleek, sexy, and sinister. The Costumes of Batman returns. That sounds kind of cool. Visualizing Gotham, production design of Batman. That's cool. The Secret Origin, the story of DC Comics. This one sounds fascinating. Let's see what this one is real quick. Celebrate and explore the 75-year history of DC Comics, even though I'm pretty sure it's longer than that. Unless they're going with... because it wasn't technically DC at one point, I think, right? I don't know. But maybe this is something that was like a documentary or something that was from a few years ago. Maybe? I don't know.
Potentially.
But, no matter what it is, I'm going to check it out. It's 95 minutes. It seems like it's probably like a documentary. I'll definitely be checking that out, see what it's all about.
Sounds me too.
All right. Then we got Legends of the Dark Knight, the history of Batman. Sure, you'll be checking that one out.
I'll be signed into that one.
Look Up in the Sky, the amazing story of Superman. That is a documentary. I actually have that on DVD. So
okay,
that's a good one. So definitely, if you're into Superman, check that out. They got a DC Spotlight on Shazam. That's cool. The magic behind the cape of Superman stuff. Magical World of Shazam. A lot of good stuff. Ooh, Returning to the Roots of Arrow. Prometheus. Let's take a quick look. I know how big of a fan of Arrow you are.
What is that? Yeah, I was a huge fan of this show.
Says, okay, DC Insiderverse, get ready to return to the roots of Arrow as Oliver Queen faced his dark past in the form of the villain Prometheus. Doesn't really tell us what this 20-minute thing is, but I'll check it out. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Anything with Arrow,
I
I'm
have
back on it.
no idea what it's going to be, but I'll definitely check it out. I'm Batman, the voices behind the cowl. That's something that I think was in one of the other islands, so that's interesting. That's over here as well. Vision and Fury. It's got a picture of the Joker from Joker. Let's take a look. Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix, and others take you inside the seedy underbelly of Gotham for his comprehensive look at the making of 2019's Academy Award-winning film Joker. That sounds cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Keen to see that one.
I will definitely be watching that one there. Going deep into the world of Aquaman. Cool.
Yes.
All right. So it looks like we're getting some, in this island we get a bit more of the like behind the scenes type stuff, which is cool.
Yeah,
Ooh.
a bit of some deeper insights.
Smallville Absolute Justice from script to screen. Ooh. So
Interesting.
looks like then we got Gotham, a modern mythology. So I'm assuming they're going to be breaking down and talking about the whole series probably. Sounds cool.
I loved Gotham as a TV show, so
Yeah, me too.
I'll be definitely watching
Looks
some
like
of those.
They have another Gotham one down here. Gotham, the Dark Within the Dark, the Court of Owls.
Yes.
And then Gotham by Noir Light, the cinematography of crime fiction. That sounds cool.
Interesting.
Gotham Invented, Building Our Gotham, Fractured Villains of Gotham. A lot of Gotham stuff. Not necessarily Gotham the TV show, but about the place of Gotham. Villains, modes of persuasion. We're doing one about Krypton. You got bringing the homeworld to life. That's cool. Another Smallville one here. Behind closed doors, inside the writer's room. Then we've got... okay, so I saw some of these. Supergirl... So it's these pilot EPKs. EPKs, it's a press kit is essentially what it is. And so it says a truly exclusive opportunity as an insider to see the short sizzle reel created behind the scenes of the Supergirl pilot. And so they're doing that with some of these. So they got the Supergirl one, they had Lucifer one. You get to watch this Black Lightning Comic-Con 2018 sizzle reel. Stuff that people didn't get to see unless you were there. So I think that's cool that they're bringing some stuff like this to Fandome.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because you didn't get to see the sizzle reels unless you were at San Diego Comic-Con, and that was so big.
Or if they got leaked, you know what I mean? Other than that, they didn't release those. Right. And they got a masterpiece, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns. That's cool.
I'll be watching that.
Watchmen, Becoming Sister Knight. Titans, Jason Todd, Fate by the Fans. That sounds interesting.
That'll be
Gotham Invented, paving the way for the Caped Crusader. We got a couple more pilot EPKs. You got Batwoman and Gotham. Get to watch some sizzle reels for those. That could be neat. Let's see. Black Lightning, DC in DC highlights. How Supergirl celebrates strong women. Long live Superman. Awesome. Well, here you go. Here's one for you. Accelerating Design, the new Batmobile.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. Some of those documentaries around how they put those Batmobiles together for live action films. So,
Lights on Leviston. I have no idea what that is. WB Tour, WB Studio Tour Hollywood, the Wonder Woman costume. Interesting. Let's see. Reflections, behind the scenes, Black Lightning. A Wonder Woman drone video? No, I'm intrigued. What is this?
What is that?
Okay. What happens when you send 300 Intel drones to light up the skies of Los Angeles in honor of Power, Grace, Wisdom, and Wonder Woman? Prepare for takeoff. Okay, it's 85 minutes. What is it?
Wow.
Huh. I mean, I'll probably check out at least a little bit of it to see what it is.
Sounds very different.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. We got the Flash EPK, Legends of Tomorrow EPK, Collecting the Grades. That's probably about I'm assuming grading comics. Yeah.
Grading the comics.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you're super into that, then that would be something fun to watch, I'm sure. Ooh,
I encourage people to have a look at that, to kind of understand, get an insight into what they actually cost.
Yeah.
You know,
The Batmobile. This
yes,
it's another documentary. It says powers through the history and evolution of the Batmobile in television, film, and comics, and includes interviews with an incredible array of producers, directors, actors, and those who truly appreciate the connection between fans and this iconic machine. Only 15
so
minutes,
good,
so that sounds pretty cool. Oh, hey, they got Batman and Me, the Bob Kane story. That's cool.
nice,
The Arrow pilot EPK. That could be a good one to watch.
absolutely.
Let's see. The Fire Rises, the creation and impact of the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, I'll definitely be watching that. The McFarlane Toys one. Look at that
Oh,
one.
yes. McFarlane Toys. That's going to be good. Black DC Superheroes with Ken Lashley. Wonder Woman 84, Amazon, Patty Jenkins. Sounds cool. Some DC graphic novel masterclasses, how to break into comics for both writers and artists. That's cool. So if you are a writer or an artist, you want to get into comics, here's a couple of things for you guys to check
They
out.
are for you, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, some more Jim Lee, creating the Hall of Heroes. He's everywhere, man. I
Yes,
tell you, he is everywhere.
we've got the preview of that on our site as a featured
Yes.
article. So go to
Yeah.
dccomicsnews.com and check it out.
Behind the scenes of the Arrowverse crossover. I assume that they're talking about Crisis. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Let's
awesome.
see. Multi hyphenate. Mark Guggenheim, who we have also interviewed. Check out that on
We have checked
DCComicsNews.com.
out Mark. Yeah, we've
Let's
interviewed
see.
him a couple of times.
Yeah, yeah. We had it was a just recent. I think it was back in December. A real long one. It was in between the crossover. So it was because they aired those first three episodes, and then they took that like month long break before they aired the other two,
Yeah,
and we interviewed him in between. So before the
yes,
other two. So and he teased some big stuff that was happening that they were working on, which wound up being that Ezra Miller cameo. And so like he teased a little bit about it, but he didn't give anything away. But so it's cool listening back to it and be like, that's what he was talking about there. So
yeah, that
I
was a
thought
great
that was
interview you guys did. I interviewed him back in 2014 as
oh
well,
wow, okay.
when Arrow first, well, when Arrow
Ah,
was early in its journey as well.
nice. Let's see. Then we've got creating a world. Look at the production design of the DC film universe. That could be a good one. I love the production design of those movies is fantastic.
Oh,
So that'd be
it's
a good
yeah,
one. Uh,
amazing.
Super suits, props. Let's see. Heroes behind the action. So it's like probably like the stunt coordinators and stuff like that, which could be cool. A lot of like behind the scenes movie stuff. It seems like this is a lot of the kind of stuff you would find in the special features of DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that.
Correct,
So
correct.
I really like that. Let's see, designing the that's an encore. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like the rest of these are the encore stuff. So yeah, this looks great. I'm super excited for what they got coming for Fandome, man. Uh, Let me ask you something. Of the ones that you can think of off the top of your head, what are probably your top three things that you're looking forward the most for Fandome?
Oh, geez, there's so much there, right, that we've
I
covered.
know, I know.
I think first and foremost, the panel on the Batman is the first one for me. So I'm intrigued to hear what's coming out with that movie next year.
Yeah,
Um, so that's probably my number one. A couple of the panels in that same realm where there's not much to them and we don't know what they are. I'm wondering what they could be. The
yeah.
second one will probably be Titans season 3 for me. On figuring out what's coming for season 3, I'm intrigued to hear about that. And a third one might actually be the Black Adam movie, and
Oh, okay.
hearing what The Rock
Very
has to
nice.
say. I'm
Very
a big
nice.
fan of Dwayne Johnson, so. But there's plenty there. There's so much that just like you that I'll be doled into to hear. But they're my top three.
Yeah.
What about you, Josh? What are your top three?
I mean, in no particular order, but definitely that Batman panel. Like I said, that's it's one of my tops. I'm so excited to see what they're going to be bringing to this. The Doom Patrol panel because I love that show.
Yep.
That is my favorite DC show that's out. That has honestly that's been out for a while. You know, of the shows that they probably over the last decade, this has been my favorite one. So I'm definitely excited for that one. And then honestly, the Snyder Cut one, because I really want to
Ah,
see
yes.
what more he's got. I mean, that Black Adam one I think is going to be interesting, but that Snyder Cut one, I'm really interested to see if he held some stuff back from from Justice Con or anything to save for
Yeah, yeah.
Fandome to really give us something special for this. So I'm pretty
I
excited
think
for
there's
that. So
something more coming. I think there's a
yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's a preview coming that we haven't seen yet.
yeah, I hope
He
so.
alluded to
So
that at Justice Con. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's the schedule right there. If you are looking to kind of dive into the schedule yourself, you can actually sign up. It's schedule.dcfandom.com. Sign up for your account there. It's free. You don't have to do anything. You just sign up, and you can actually create a schedule. So you can add different panels to your schedule and build your schedule right there on the site. And be sure to check out Fandome next weekend on the 22nd, starting at, if you're Pacific time, it's 10 a.m. It's 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then, whatever I'm bad with time zones everywhere else. So whatever the time zones are outside of that, be sure you're there for this big 24-hour fan event. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be awesome. A whole lot of great stuff. You don't want to miss it. Damon, where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so they can find me on Twitter. So just Damian _ Fasciani on Twitter. You can also find me on Instagram, D Fasciani, DFASCIANI, or just Google my name, and you'll find some of the content that I've written for DC Comics News, and also our partner site, darkknightnews.com as well. So please find me online and give me a follow or ask any questions, and I always love interacting with the fans.
Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at JP Raynor. That's JPRAYNOR. And of course, follow us on all the social medias at DC Comics News. We're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr. We're all over the place at DC Comics News. And be sure to check out the website, dccomicsnews.com, for all your news, reviews, interviews, everything you want DC. It's all there. Be sure to check that out. And be sure to check out our podcast network on Anchor or on Fireside. It's DC Comics News. It's on all the major podcast platforms. We're on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, all those major podcast platforms. DC Comics News Podcast Network. So many great shows over there. I have a fantastic team of people there. David, is there anything else you want to add before we sign off today?
No, that's it, man. I think DC Fandom is going to be a huge event. I'm so excited. It was great going through the schedule with you today,
Absolutely.
And hopefully as many of our fans kind of jump online and take a look at our overview of the schedule. But man, it's been a lot of fun, and we'll be partnering up again next weekend.
Absolutely. And thank you again for joining me. This has been DC Comics News. And as we end everything that we do over here, we end it with one simple request. And that is for you to read more comics. And catch you next
Absolutely.
time.